Amid the thunderous cheers of the thousands of spectators in the studio, the host's jubilant voice rang out with rhythmic intensity. I can't believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, tens of millions of players, hundreds of brutal battlefields, and a series of classic turnarounds. Overcoming every adversity and ruthless competition. The only champion to survive until the final moment. She didn't shy away. Instead of backing down, she confronted them head-on. Instead of hesitating, she charged straight forward. The host glanced at the scoreboard and took a deep breath before shouting loudly. And finally, she has etched a legend from the virtual world into real life. Everyone, remember this moment. The first season champion of the livestream tournament, player Shin Ha-yeon. Reflexes faster than the blink of an eye. Instincts far beyond mere precision. And an unparalleled physique that no one could replicate. With a polished script already in place, the host effortlessly drove the audience's emotions to new heights. She has transcended the boundaries of an ordinary gamer to become a legend. Player Shin Ha-yeon will conclude her journey on this stage to prepare for her debut in the professional arena. That's right. Who will be the one to claim this supreme glory in the upcoming season? 6 years later, a luxurious high-rise building located in the heart of a bustling district. The reception area was somehow more crowded than usual. Yet, the vast research room maintained its characteristic silence, allowing the scientists to focus on their work. Suddenly, a massive machine pod unexpectedly opened. The man lying inside had just opened his eyes when he heard a gentle inquiry echoing in his ears. "How are you feeling?" Ji-hai watched the man's bewildered expression with excitement and continued to speak. "It's been a long time since you played a game, hasn't it?" Seo-jun waited for her to finish before responding immediately. "It's definitely less dizzying than it used to be. My body also feels much lighter." A soft sigh escaped his lips, making Ji-hai burst into laughter. Still, she didn't forget her work and went straight to the point. "Could you come over here for a moment? This new generation machine is integrated with all our latest cutting-edge technology to optimize performance. Thanks to that, even those with physical disabilities can have a seamless experience. Of course, in a case like Seo-jun's with a low synchronization rate, as long as you play within the prescribed time, there won't be any problems." Hearing that, he immediately looked up and asked, "How much does this type cost?" The blunt question made Ji-hai hesitate for a few seconds. Well, that was before excitedly 100 million won. The long number made Seo-jun freeze in his tracks. 100 million won. While Ji-hai was shyly smiling and asking if that price was too much, he was busy pondering the balance in his account and sighed. Balance insufficient. Current total assets, 458 won. Ji-hai looked at the man's dejected face, not daring to prolong the silence, and spoke up herself. "That's why I have this special offer for you, Seo-jun. Do you want to hear it?" Seo-jun slowly stepped into the Via machine, a device that satisfies the aspirations of the new era by integrating virtual reality into countless industries. But among them, the field that makes people the most crazy must surely be the machine that quickly transferred Seo-jun's brain straight into the dragon's head to deliver a top-tier knockout. The giant dragon collapsed onto the ground, allowing Seo-jun a moment to sigh before landing on the ground. Perhaps because of its ability to stimulate adrenaline in both players and viewers, video games have always been the field that people love the most. With overwhelming realism that makes people unable to believe they are in a virtual world. As the starting call is released by the system, incredibly beautiful skills are unleashed by the players. Seo-jun was drawn into that world as naturally as that, and the whole world also erupted in a virtual reality gaming fever. However, Seo-jun passed out inside the machine before even a year had passed. It was all because the synchronization rate required to move as if in real life in his virtual world was far lower than average, with only a 10% synchronization rate. That bitter truth made Seo-jun sit despondently, checking news on his phone while sitting on the bus. The stifled feeling made the young man unable to help but sigh. "I had hoped, just because they said this machine could play games regardless of a low synchronization rate. But no matter how you look at it, 100 million is just too steep. Squeezing money is too easy. If I had known, I wouldn't have touched the game in the first place. But now, I'm craving the feeling of playing again." Seo-jun wearily rested his arm on the window frame and looked out at the sky intently. Unconsciously, he sighed wearily as a vague thought crossed his mind. Why did I even get involved in this machine gaming thing back then? Night fell at a dreary rental apartment complex. The host's cheering on the TV echoed throughout the space. A new record set this week. The first season champion in Korea, player Shin Hyun, hearing that, excitedly commented, "Oh wow, amazing. The scale of this is absolutely huge." Even the professional players currently competing are joining this friendly match. Seo Jun, having just arrived home, cleared his throat and asked, "What are you watching that you turned the volume up so high?" His sudden appearance startled the other. "Oh, you're back? This friendly match of the tournament is extremely addictive, man." Seo Jun looked at his happy friend and sat down next to Taewoo to chat. "Is that tournament really that famous?" "It's advertised heavily all day long." Unexpectedly, that question made him visibly tense. "Are you crazy? Asking if this tournament is famous. Do you know that asking such a question might offend those who don't play machine games?" While Seo Jun was still confused by his friend's slightly over-the-top reaction. "What's wrong with you?" Taewoo was annoyed and started introducing it like a true hardcore fan. The livestream tournament attracted 15 million views during its first broadcast. In South Korea alone, an annual tournament already draws at least 1 million viewers. And if you count the international audience, it's a massive tournament with over 15 million views. Except for the professional tournaments, this is the most grand-scale tournament out of all of them. Hearing that, Seo Jun asked tentatively, bewildered, "Do they usually use any specific type of weapon?" Although he didn't understand what his friend's silly question meant, Taewoo still responded sincerely. "There are also bows and magic, but no matter what you say, using a sword is still the strongest." He had just finished speaking when he observed his friend's attitude, not expecting Seo Jun to be silent and mutter like he was in the clouds. "Using a sword? Huh?" Taewoo looked at his friend, who was so dazed, and irritably grabbed a handful of crispy fries. "But it's not like just holding a sword makes you good at fighting. Last year, I also tried to wave a sword around and was eliminated right from the qualifying round. And the result was only getting a crappy, gray-grade item." His mouth hadn't even fully savored it when he nearly choked on Seo Jun's cold remark. "Ah, so that means as long as you're a newbie, regardless of whether you're famous or not, you can register to participate, right?" The quick tease immediately made Taewoo go crazy and scream, "Hey, I'm actually pretty good. You have to know that without fame, getting a spot in a league tournament is a huge struggle. Did you know that?" He didn't care at all, and even gently flicked his ear and sighed, his head buzzing. Once Taewoo calmed down, he asked, "But why are you asking about the league tournament today? Normally, you don't even care about those machines or live streams." Seo Jun fell silent for a few seconds before responding softly, "Just asking." Suddenly, the phone in his hand began to vibrate violently. Seo Jun just pressed to open the phone, and it turned out to be the question about Jihai's previous offer hitting him right in the face. The memory from that morning quickly rushed into Seo Jun's mind. In the league tournament organized by Tourism, a new generation machine pod has been added to the list of prizes. As long as you agree to participate in this tournament, I will make an exception and lend you a machine for free to use until the tournament ends. Jihai saw Seo Jun's sudden reaction and excitedly concluded with confidence, "What do you think?" Returning to reality, he quickly asked tentatively, "How about I try participating in the league tournament and see?" Taewoo, who a second ago was blindly agreeing because of the TV, the next second turned to look at him with an indescribable expression. "What did you just say?" Seo Jun naturally felt his friend's confusion, but still gently replied, "I said I'll try participating in the league tournament. Don't you think if I take it seriously, I'll accomplish something?" The other's carefree attitude made Taewoo let out a long huh. "Do you think the league tournament is a national singing contest that anyone can jump into? Where did you get that excessive confidence from? I don't know." The cold words made Seo Jun unable to help but sigh with boredom. Taking advantage of his friend not paying attention, he silently went into his own private thoughts. "I've thought about a lot. About the real reason why I crave returning to those machine games so much. I want to enjoy the glory I once possessed as a sword god one more time." Because deep consciousness quickly took Seo Jun back to the moment he stood alone in the old forest. His sharp gaze suddenly flashed with an image of death, before his body automatically tilted, waiting for the swarm of monsters to rush down on him. Seo-jun gently drew his precious sword, and then gracefully dealt with the humanoid demons without any hesitation. How could he forget his lonely silhouette standing among the bodies he had just defeated? Soo-yoon, the man who seemed like a loser, still held intact memories from his past life. Even if Seo-jun didn't want to, the memories automatically rushed back. A secret black market that only opened on a full moon night. Even in that bottom of society, Seo-jun was just a piece of merchandise waiting for someone to use him. In his past life, that slave was him. If the moment had truly happened peacefully in a place without blood splattered everywhere, a stranger would have suddenly appeared and dealt with the despicable human traffickers. Everything happened in a flash right before Seo-jun's eyes. While he was still bewildered, not knowing what to do, that man offered, "Hey kid, want to come with me?" If Master Han Suk hadn't appeared at that time, reaching out to show rare compassion in that treacherous place, then the past of a genius saved from the brink of despair, along with the burden of leading the righteous path amidst all the envy and expectations, or a sword god of the past would not exist. Seo-jun kept remembering the past, so he just nodded and smiled like a madman. "Master, but what's the use of being a sword god in a past life?" Tae-woo stood outside, watching his friend's ecstatic expression, and irritably muttered, "This madman." Seo-jun angrily lowered his voice, turning to talk to his friend. "What did you just say?" Unexpectedly, Tae-woo was not afraid and even raised an eyebrow in response. "I said you're a madman. Spending money to buy this just to participate in a live stream tournament. Does that sound reasonable?" His aggressive appearance made Seo-jun frown in confusion. "Why are you making such a fuss? Why isn't it reasonable?" Tae-woo fell silent for a few seconds to find a script and then poured it all out. "Do you know how strict the requirements are to participate in the league tournament? Unless you're already a famous newbie, it'll be a long time before you get to touch it." Tae-woo looked at his friend's dazed face and couldn't help but sigh and lecture. "Do you think being famous is easy? There's speaking skills," smiling at the end of the chat session. "Like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Quick-witted skills in the game." While speaking, Tae-woo pretended to wave around to illustrate his words. Regardless of whether Seo-jun wanted to take it in or not, he happily posed and joked, the humor, and also having to know how to edit videos. Even if you can do it all, plenty of people still fail because no one watches. You haven't even touched the virtual pod yet. So how are you going to play? The sharp argument made Seo-jun look confused at the machine pod behind him. When he asked to confirm one more time, "Is there no way to rise purely through ability?" A simple sentence could make Tae-woo laugh and mutter, "This guy is really stubborn." Actually, there's one way. That's the level of Shin Ha-yeon, the one hailed with the most beautiful words. The top-tier #1 gamer in Korea, more famous than celebrities. Seo-jun didn't show any admiration. Instead, it was the excessive calm of a person suspicious of mass information. "Is that so? I'm better than her. Actually, I used this virtual pod once before. A long time ago." Of course, that calm as a cloud statement didn't reach Tae-woo's ears. "That's absolute nonsense. Did you hear a word of what I just said? This is not okay. I have to teach you a practical lesson." He stepped toward the machine pod and invited him. "Get inside. If your skills are better than Shin Ha-yeon's. No, just better than mine. From now on, I'll take care of all the housework." The friend had already challenged him, so Seo-jun wasn't shy at all, suppressing a smile meaningfully, and quickly confirmed the bet almost immediately. Bet accepted. A while later, Seo-jun crawled into the machine pod to get into position. While the system was still busy connecting to the virtual reality world, 10 seconds remained. He was busy falling into his own separate thoughts. "Newbie? To be honest, this is an industry I've never been interested in." But Seo-jun took a deep breath and let his mind go. Suddenly, his subconscious brought up the image of Han Suk. His gentle, warm voice echoed throughout Seo-jun's mind. "No one is more skilled and clumsy at first. If you keep hesitating just because you haven't tried it, you'll never accomplish anything." As soon as that advice ended, a blinding light suddenly appeared in his eyes. Seo-jun slowly opened his eyes. The strange, ancient scenery around him stunned him for a moment. "Where is this?" Before Seo-jun could do anything, the system suddenly announced, "Kim Tae-woo has entered the training room." As soon as he appeared, he grinned and muttered, "You're in." Seo-jun reined in his overflowing curiosity to respond. "Yeah, what is this place? Feeling the other's interest, Taewoo leisurely instructed. This is the basic game pre-installed in the virtual pod, a place where you fight AI to set a record. When Seo-jun revealed his ignorance. Can I just fight you? Taewoo, giving things to his friend, couldn't help but laugh. Here, take this. I don't know how to go easy when I fight. Might cause an injury. Beat my maximum AI here, and consider yourself having won the bet. A system parameter table suddenly appeared, making Seo-jun look completely bewildered. Taewoo didn't even need to look and knew he should just jump into explaining. The AI here has levels from 1 to 10. The higher the level, the stronger it is. The final level, level 10, will simulate the person with the best performance among those who have passed level 9. And Shin Haeyeon has dominated that position for 5 years now. But anyway, to reach level 10, you have to pass level 9 first. And that's not easy. The words hadn't even finished when he was stunned to see the system screen open. It turned out Seo-jun had already chosen the difficulty level of the fight, causing the system to hurriedly summon an AI down. Solo mode has been set. The battle will begin now. Taewoo looked at his cold face and laughed playfully. What's that? You've chosen? What level did you pick? Don't tell me you jumped levels out of ignorance. Just seconds later, the AI hurriedly rushed towards Seo-jun with a sword. It had just swung its sword up when he blocked the attack gently. The sound of clashing swords made Taewoo clear his throat and laugh. What's wrong with this guy? Looking so smug. Meanwhile, Seo-jun leisurely received each of the AI's moves. But when it started playing dirty, swinging its sword forward, Seo-jun easily dodged in a cool way. Before the AI could react, he swung his sword, making a line across it. A gentle attack could take away half of the AI's health bar. That information made Taewoo, observing from outside, shocked and speechless. Luck. Meanwhile, Seo-jun stood still, waiting for the AI's next attack. As soon as it advanced into the restricted area, he immediately swung his sword, making it lose its direction. Before the AI could regain its senses, Seo-jun quickly slashed enough lines on it. Just when the AI tried to raise its sword for a dirty slash, he quickly made a slash, separating its robot arm from its body. When the AI's sword-holding arm fell to the ground, Taewoo was shocked to the point of turning pale. The AI, having been beaten up, felt the killing intent and looked up. Seo-jun gently stepped over its limp arm. That sound made the AI look up. Seo-jun only waited for that moment, so it could see his victorious smile clearly. Then he gently sent his opponent back to AI heaven. The thin blade was pulled out of its body by Seo-jun, allowing the AI to be retrieved by the system. The beeping sound of the system analyzing data kept ringing continuously. Just moments later, it announced Seo-jun's victory after the battle. You have won the level 9 battle, 10% health remaining. Time, 2 minutes 23 seconds. Current ranking, 107. That image made Taewoo freeze. What? Level 9? The AI that just got smashed is level 9? Wait, that means the next match will be. The system quickly set up a new AI figure. Waiting for it to be set up and burst with energy, Taewoo felt the variable coming and took a few steps back. Shin Haeyeon. A horrifying scene that made Taewoo afraid to breathe, because the person who would fight the Shin Haeyeon AI was his quiet friend. Seo-jun, what the hell is happening with this guy? At the laboratory, Sumin hurriedly called Ji-hai. Director, why did you do that when you received that confusing question from the other party? Do what? Sumi quickly made her thoughts clear. That free lending thing. No need to be that generous. Honestly, he looks like the type who wouldn't be able to crawl into Jost in his whole life. Her brain also conveniently imagined Seo-jun's attitude when agreeing to Ji-hai's offer. From now on, this virtual pod is mine. She waited for her subordinate. Finishing, she let out a sigh. It's just that I feel regret seeing talent wasted. Suin quickly grasped the important word and raised an eyebrow. Talent. Ji-hai just stared at Seo-jun's profile and fell into deep thought. Right from back then, when he couldn't even reach the minimum synchronization rate, I saw there was something very different about him. Skills now are far beyond back then. Don't want to let Sum in. Ji-hai slowly sighed and spoke in a vague tone. It's true that to qualify to participate is still far off, but if he really gets in, I think he could win. Meanwhile, inside the system's training space, Seo-jun leisurely sparred with Shin Haeyeon. The intense sword fight made Taewoo break into a cold sweat. Could he really win? A thought suddenly crossed his mind, making him hurriedly press the recording button. A belief quickly appeared, making Tae-woo unable to help but smile gloomily. If he really wins, then this is truly a money-making content mine. Meanwhile, Seo-jun was still busy sword fighting with Shin Ha-yun. When he flicked his sword to push his opponent away, the Shin Ha-yun AI quickly regained its stature, blocking its flight by pressing its hands and feet against the arena floor. The opponent's flexibility made Seo-jun feel slightly moved. No wonder it's Shin Ha-yun. I realized it before, but she is more talented than anyone I've ever met in my past life. Thinking of that, Seo-jun didn't forget to flatter himself. Oh, except for one person. The sudden stupor made Tae-woo hurriedly yell, "Hey, what are you doing?" In just one brief moment, Shin Ha-yun took advantage of her opponent's distraction to pierce Seo-jun with a sword. That result quickly made Tae-woo abandon all his previous hopes for him. Right, exactly. How did you manage to match Shin Ha-yun's speed? Unexpectedly, Seo-jun calmly pulled Shin Ha-yun's sword, which was stuck in his stomach, out, and threw it to the ground without bothering to reply to his friend. A thought flashed through Seo-jun's mind as he watched Shin Ha-yun jump back without a hint of pain, not even a drop of blood. Seo-jun looked at the notification that he had lost 1 health point and commented leisurely, "Virtual reality is truly amazing." The unexpected calm made Tae-woo frown in confusion. "Don't tell me you let yourself get hit on purpose just to test it." Seo-jun didn't refute it. Instead, he casually shrugged. "I was just a little curious." While the two were busy chatting, Shin Ha-yun suddenly switched to a new sword to replace the old one. It slowly lowered its center of gravity and then hurriedly sprinted towards Seo-jun. That sudden speed forced him to run at an equivalent velocity to parry the attack. On one side was the Shin Ha-yun AI, a copy of the strongest player of the modern era. On the other was Seo-jun, who possessed the strongest swordsmanship from his past life in ancient times. Both sides quickly let their blades meet their opponent's attack unexpectedly, creating a powerful shockwave of recoil, while Seo-jun calmly parried the sword down. Shin Ha-yun was a bit flustered, never having encountered this situation before, and stood frozen. Within its energy glass, warning screens that shouldn't exist began to appear. That brief bit of information was quickly read by Seo-jun, prompting him to flick his sword, pushing the Shin Ha-yun AI to fall backward. Before it could recover, he kicked Shin Ha-yun hard in the stomach. The hasty attack caused it to anxiously jump back to keep a safe distance. Inside its head, the cold voice of the system rang out. Health points -4. Seo-jun looked at the Shin Ha-yun AI, which wasn't even moving, and sarcastically remarked, "What's wrong? Not rushing it anymore." He leaned back slightly and gathered momentum to jump up. "That's fine then." Seo-jun gently emerged from behind a hazy smoke to fly right in front of Shin Ha-yun. His proactive attack forced it to raise its sword to block. The force with which both sides parried their swords caused the blades to frictionally create sparks. But just seconds later, cracks appeared on Shin Ha-yun's blade. That image immediately left Tae-woo visibly stunned. "Wait, no way." Before he could utter a word, Seo-jun slashed and broke Shin Ha-yun's sword. His massive shockwave even pushed it far away. Everything went according to the plan in Seo-jun's head, making him unable to hold back a triumphant, premature smile. Under the sunset light arranged by the system, he slowly leveled his sword across the AI's face. Before delivering the final blow, Seo-jun didn't forget to offer a sarcastic remark. "Maybe you'll be able to beat me after practicing for another 80 years. Just as he finished his sentence, he delivered a finishing slash across Shin Ha-yun's neck. The system received all information and quickly reported the result. "You have won the battle." Under Tae-woo's gaze of awe and fear, Seo-jun just chatted leisurely. "Hey, you used small said Shin Ha-yun." As that sentence ended, the system also updated important information. "The level 10 owner has changed. Is this enough skill to be considered a newbie of the strength-based variety?" The next day, at that very same basic rental apartment, Seo-jun lazily lay on the sofa, acting superior. "While you're at it, go buy some food." Tae-woo, after the shock of the previous day, now had to be a literal slave to him. "How did you cook these noodles so they're not even fully done? Remember to vacuum the living room later. The clothes aren't folded yet either. And wash the dishes after you eat." Everything was because of that unbeatable bed, so Tae-woo could only cry in silence. Didn't he say he wouldn't accept any resistance? Meanwhile, Seo-jun finished eating and walked into his private small room, the place with the machine pod, to prepare for work that day. I already installed the game yesterday. Now it's time to go in and prepare to set up the live stream room. CO Jun nervously closed his eyes to let the machine pod system take his mind far away. That glimmering light continued to appear once more. I don't know how much time passed, but CO Jun slowly lifted his heavy eyelids. The surrounding space was so minimalist, it was cold, making him feel a bit dazed. When CO Jun looked around in every direction in a daze. Where is this? The basic system screen suddenly appeared, as it spoke to introduce itself, answering CO Jun's question. This is your personal lobby. Please relax and prepare before entering the game. He started scratching his chin, nodding like a 70-year-old man. All right, streamers interact with viewers right in their lobby. So this is it. I should decorate this place properly one day. All right, let's turn on the headset first. The #1 game live streaming platform headset quickly appeared before CO Jun's eyes. A clear thought quickly crossed his mind like a passing wind. Currently, I have only one goal: to attract enough followers as a newbie to qualify. The system suddenly announced, your live stream session will begin right now. CO Jun slowly lowered his breath. The game he chose, Dawn of the Assassin Squad, is this very game. A medieval-themed game where players must take down targets using the most bizarre tricks imaginable. CO Jun proudly nodded at his decision. It had hit over 2 million viewers on its first day of release. And even after a week, its appeal hadn't cooled down. Too perfect for a beginner like me. In the dark of night, a grappling hook was launched by someone onto a stone wall. The sharp hook quickly took hold, allowing the shooter to use it to leap up. CO Jun, who now had a new interface in the game, was grabbing the rope, kicking off the wall to run up. A few minutes later, he was able to reach the top floor of the building. Thanks to the techniques he gained from his past life, CO Jun gently landed where he needed to be in just a split second. He leisurely leaned over to look at the splendid city below. A sudden breeze caused his hood to fall, revealing CO Jun's new appearance. All right, let's get started, shall we? Now let's go live. The system suddenly displayed a title for his live session. Newbie streamer playing the game for the first time. Are there any experts to give a newbie some advice? CO Jun, upon reading those words, thought in a daze. Tae-woo gave a really sensational title. I wonder if it's actually effective. He recalled his friend's confident words. My man, in terms of live streaming seniority, I'm your senior. Trust me, you'll definitely pull in a ton of viewers. Come watch. He couldn't help but laugh and shake his head. But I'm not exactly a complete novice to these virtual reality games either. After that moment of amusement, CO Jun quickly turned serious and scanned downward, where the magnificent, money-scented buildings were. CO Jun scanned slowly toward the characters who were geared up and moving like people of that era in real life. The cohesive background design made CO Jun's mood strangely happy. The background is pretty compelling. I have to admit the graphics were invested in. He was so excited he laughed unconsciously. Suddenly, there were footsteps approaching from behind CO Jun. He turned around slowly at the gentle call. Dane, on this mission, you might not return. CO Jun quickly read the system dialogue correctly. Christina, when have we ever done work that wasn't dangerous? Before she could say any more lines, CO Jun frowned in thought. The newbie tutorial is running automated dialogue, and the voice is different too. So, is this character named Dane? That looks pretty cool. When Christina turned, revealing her embarrassment, CO Jun smiled, letting his raspy voice fly with the wind. Once you want to take someone else's life, you have to be mentally prepared to sacrifice your own. Christina, upon hearing about life and death, sobered up and cleared her throat. Yeah, that's right, but still be careful. They might have already sniffed you out. But unlike her worry, CO Jun casually dismissed her concern. Don't worry, just go to the tavern and wait for me first. Unexpectedly, Christina not only didn't follow his advice, but also produced a pre-folded piece of paper. Under his confused gaze, she quickly began vaguely. Nothing is true. Remain skeptical of everything. Hearing that line, CO Jun smirked excitedly. It's beginning. Then he continued with the line said in the system as he reached out to receive the paper. Even chaos, huh? After parting with Christina, CO Jun quickly ran across the rooftops of the buildings. He pulled out a thick strip of fabric and held it firmly in his hand. Once he had confirmed his destination, CO Jun quickly let himself drift on the cable, sliding down. When he was almost there, he immediately let go of the cable, kicked the top of a streetlight, and then landed gently like a martial artist without a speck of dust. Seo Jun's eyes even maintained the look of a god of slaughter from back in the day, until the system announced that the automatic tutorial mode had ended. He returned to his usual dazed appearance. Oh, done. Seo Jun hurriedly regained his spirit to continue playing this game. Is this way a dead end? In front of him, scattered lines of information suddenly appeared. The optimization is pretty poor, isn't it? Climb up using the water pipe. It was this line that made Seo Jun feel uneasy. He wearily reached out to compare himself with the pile of pipes assigned to the wall, telling him to hold on to that to climb up. The moment Seo Jun's hand touched a small water pipe, his whole body seemed to trigger some kind of energy, kicking off the pipe to leap high. A moment later, Seo Jun landed right on the rooftop of the building. His skillful climbing behavior surprised him. Oh, what's this? The body moves automatically and smoothly. The interaction is truly realistic. Done? Maybe it was because I was in automatic mode earlier, so my body was a bit stiff. Suddenly, the newbie quest quickly appeared before Seo Jun's eyes. Assassination target. Itor is a high-ranking noble and an intermediary for a secret organization. The Assassin's Guild has assigned member Dane the task of dealing with him. Completion condition: Itor must die. Seo Jun read through those aged words and sighed. In short, just kill the guy named Itor, and that's it, right? I have to admit, this game gives really thorough directions. As soon as he finished speaking, the system dropped a rope down on its own. Seo Jun, while carefully climbing down, commented silently in his heart. It guides you step by step through the basics like this, so it's quite comfortable. Suddenly, this crazy ancestor stopped everything he was doing, all because a wild thought was rushing through Seo Jun's mind. What happens if I let go while climbing? Do I really have to slide all the way to the end of the rope? It probably doesn't matter if I let go halfway, right? My gut tells me so. This is faster. As soon as his intuition thought it, Seo Jun let go of his hand. His body, as expected, fell and slammed into the ground, not unlike a durian falling on a ripe day. A moment later, Seo Jun regained his composure, sat up, and groaned. Yeah, that definitely didn't work. Unexpectedly, that unconscious action caused the comment board to appear before his eyes. Seo Jun scanned and read all the existing comments. The streamer is a true newbie. Watching these beginners is so funny. Don't tell me he's acting. Hilarious. Perfect. When I first played, I was just as clueless. I shyly chanted in my heart. Oh, wait, I'm still on air. I keep forgetting. Since when were there 4 people watching? I thought no one was watching. So the title actually works. Seo Jun imagined Tae Woo's excited face upon hearing this news. Told you so. Then he gently interacted with the viewers. Sorry, everyone. I just noticed the chat channel. The audience split into 2 opinions for a moment. The newbie is entertaining enough to watch. No kidding. Stop wasting time and move faster. Don't be sluggish. Move on. But the thing Seo Jun paid attention to was only one thing. Why are these people's account names so strange? Are these just random weirdos who wandered in here? But remembering, Tae Woo advised that when you first start live streaming, you have to practice talking to yourself to fill the silence. Even if there's no one or only one viewer, don't worry too much about that number. The most important thing is to interact. That made Seo Jun start falling into a private analysis in his head. The reason they chose to watch his channel instead of the big ones is definitely because they wanted real interaction. In big channels, the chat moves like the wind and cleans everything out. Let me try talking naturally. Said and done. Seo Jun started a Q&A session with the viewers who bothered to watch him. Is that really a newbie? Yeah, he really is. Check his profile and you'll see. Geez, his account is only 2 days old. Can you see that too? Of course. If you don't want others to see, hide it. Oh, that's annoying. Too lazy to hide the personal page, but still plays games? When will you actually do the quest? I'm going now. I don't know how much time passed. Seo Jun finally arrived at Countator's mansion. While he leisurely commented that he arrived pretty fast, the audience wasn't very comfortable with the image they were seeing. The house looks like a scary haunted house. God, the sound of the crows is enough to make my hair stand on end. Since he didn't know what to do first, Seo Jun started asking for help from the audience. What should I do now? Just go straight in through the front door, only to receive a tense reaction from them. Truly fearless. Reeks of a newbie. Wait, don't. In Christina's letter, it says don't do that. The final comment was just revealed, and Seo Jun opened that paper immediately. All right, there's a letter too. He squinted at the contents of the paper and muttered, interacting with the viewers. It says here a tour is in the second floor bedroom, and there are about 20 guards. And as for weapons, there are... As he said that, CO Jun summoned his hot items. His left hand was also encased by the system for a few seconds before revealing a small layer of armor around his arm. CO Jun stared blankly at the two items he was equipped with, a sword hidden in a walking stick and a gauntlet. His innocent appearance made the audience unable to help but explain. Those are the default tutorial weapons. However, CO Jun himself didn't pay much attention to that. His goal was just to take care of that Ator guy. So this was more than enough. Thinking of that, he sheathed his sword, then gently walked straight into the enemy's front door. All right, I'm going in. His slightly decisive behavior made the audience flutter like a mother hen watching her chicks run toward the train tracks. Wait, this newbie is crazy, stop. When CO Jun calmly turned to ask why, everyone sighed in unison to remind him. God, didn't you read the rest of Christina's letter? Please just follow the instructions in the letter. Forget him. He has to die a few times to get smart. Today, the King of Hell is preparing to welcome another soul. A series of strange reactions made CO Jun purse his lips in thought. Why is everyone reacting so strongly? Since he couldn't think of anything clever, he just asked directly, "Can I use the front door?" A viewer sent a message. Do you know what ganking the civilians means? CO Jun revealed his ignorance immediately. What's that? That sincere, confused expression made the other person start revealing compassion when sending a message to teach him thoroughly. In this game, if you get caught while doing a quest, the NPCs will get buffed. People usually just sneak around, but sometimes veterans like to play recklessly, just walking straight through the front door and stabbing everyone. That blood-draining playstyle is called ganking the civilians. CO Jun skimmed through the comment and quickly asked further. Does that mean you can't beat the tutorial part by going all in? The other didn't think much and said straight out. Who knows if anyone has ever done it? Some guy tried grinding for 10 hours and then was so helpless he had to give up and follow the normal path to get the first ending. Then said he'd come back for revenge later. Even the veterans on the forum haven't seen anyone post that they succeeded. Upon hearing that, CO Jun couldn't help but laugh. So it's not that it's impossible, but just that no one has done it yet, right? The other didn't see the change in expression on his face and chatted gently like a longtime best friend. Yeah, unless you have the insane skill level of Shin Ha-yun, maybe. The familiar name made CO Jun choose to step forward. Shin Ha-yeon. He gently pulled his hat over his head and flashed a bright smile. All right, let's see. The blood moon scenery surrounding Ator's mansion created a bizarrely horrifying atmosphere. Until this very moment, CO Jun slowly soaked in the monstrous atmosphere here and froze for a beat. Oh, looking at this pressure up close, it's no joke. But they say letting the viewers look down on you a little is the art of making content. He calmly read the series of comments scrolling past his eyes, settling the bet. The streamer will be poor right here. Anyone want to bet on which turn this guy gets pissed off and turns off the game? He'll never make it through. Die quickly, then play from the start to save time. You guys are being too harsh on him. What is this newbie doing? Don't know. Does he know who Shin Ha-yun is to be crowing like that? Those harsh words weren't as interesting to CO Jun as another matter. 3 more people joined to watch. So it turns out you have to create drama to attract customers. But whatever, as long as they don't go too far, just take it easy. CO Jun's gentle footsteps quickly attracted the attention of the mansion guards. They hurriedly took a defensive stance and shouted loudly. Who's there? While the comments started to turn on sarcasm mode. Oh boy, just got in and already caught. Just like I said, I told you he'd die right here. CO Yun Lisoli replied. Don't worry, I'm starting to get the hang of it, only to receive cold buckets of water from the commentary squad. Who's worried about you? We're just watching you die for entertainment. Right, 3 seconds and he'll be on the floor. While he was still distracted, a soldier raised his sword and leaped toward him first. Hey, you get out here now. In just one brief moment, CO Jun's eyes switched to God of Slaughter mode. He used lightning speed to pull out his sword to parry the thug-style attack of the opponent, and even gently countered that foolish soldier, causing him to fall painfully onto the cold ground. The hasty turn of events immediately caused the viewers to go into a frenzy. Oh my god, he could go buy a lottery ticket now. Wait, am I seeing things? Did this newbie actually just successfully parry, causing Seo Jun to freeze for a beat? His hand secretly tightened around the hilt of his sword, but not because of anxiety. It was confusion. While his hand was still dealing with the opponent out of habit from his past life, he himself didn't even understand what had just happened. Weird, is it this easy to die in this game? The remaining soldier saw his comrade sent to the altar so quickly and hurriedly rushed over. Kid, unfortunately, the result was the same as before. Seo Jun gently parried the attack with a limp sword. However, before dealing with the opponent, he even had time to read the viewers' comments. Wait, seriously? I swear I should have just gone and bought a lottery ticket. A double parry, too. Truly insane. Clearly just luck. Hilarious. Seo Jun didn't understand what was going on and just stood there blankly parrying. Suddenly, the soldier who had just been pushed back unexpectedly struggled to stand up, making him widen his eyes and send the person on his way for good. Finished, Seo Jun cleared his throat and spoke up. Hey, everyone, leaving the viewers startled. What's wrong? Unexpectedly, the guy was dazed and asked a question so basic it was superfluous. What is parrying? Just seconds later, the other couldn't help but laugh and message back. Geez, you managed that move, and you don't even know what parrying is. But when he saw Seo Jun reply seriously, yeah, that's right, everyone started getting rowdy. Oh wow, you really are a natural-born genius. Just luck. What genius? That's exactly what a genius is. Their noise made him bored and ignore it. Stop arguing and explain it to me. His oblivious attitude made the viewers both angry and amused. This guy's attitude is hilarious. Suddenly feel like helping him. Stop arguing, everyone. Time had to pass for quite a while before Seo Jun's "oh" sound rang out. Ah, I see. He gently poked his stick at the pile of his illustrative corpses on the ground and then submitted his homework to the teachers. So that's called parrying. It means you just have to time it right when the enemy lunges and slash straight down to stun them, right? Making the viewers unable to help but burst out laughing. His artistic level is top-notch, but he's actually pretty sharp. Even professional veterans who are full of confidence are crying with the parrying mechanism of this game. That sentence made Seo Jun knit his brows in confusion. Even the pros are struggling with it. Tae-woo said the basic hybrid level is already at pro level. If the pros are also at that level, then their general ability must be around that much. No wonder everyone finds it difficult. To parry successfully, you have to read the enemy's attack direction precisely and move your body in sync. Suddenly, someone expressed concern by asking a clarifying question. Do you understand what parrying is now? Seo Jun quickly nodded like a good child. Totally clear. Unexpectedly, he received advice that was sincere but misplaced. Then get out of there while you still can, right? Otherwise, you'll be stuffed with beating later. Seo Jun didn't even think about it, just took another step forward. Why not? Seems pretty easy to me. Seo Jun's confident way of speaking quickly made the viewers burst into sarcastic laugh. But strangely enough, a comment more serious than the rest suddenly appeared. No way. I'm watching this really closely. That move just now definitely wasn't luck. Unexpectedly, before he could even respond, other commenters jumped in immediately. You think being number one is a walk in the park? Who do you think you are? The greatest assassin of Kharkiv wasn't luck. What the hell do you know? The unprecedented bickering in the comment section made Seo Jun sigh helplessly. See that? My friend just said one thing and already got ripped apart before they could even react. My past life was exactly like this. Even when I crushed the disciples of major sects, they still looked down on me because I was a nobody with no background and no support. My true strength was always dismissed by others, even though I know things now aren't the same as back then. But before Seo Jun could think any further, a series of sudden footsteps echoed, leaving him stunned. A group of soldiers, hearing the alarm, rushed out in front of Seo Jun and stopped. Intruder. Looking at their contemptuous expressions, he just gently tightened his grip on his sword hilt. In essence, it's still exactly the same. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Seo Jun immediately turned on the jets and charged into the enemy's midst. Regardless, I'll just let the results speak for themselves. Just as Seo Jun dealt with one, another appeared from above. He effortlessly tilted his body as his eyes caught the opponent's weak spot and quickly slashed across the soldier's body right then. That decisive action and agility made the viewers gawk. What the hell? However, His battle wasn't over yet. The clanging sounds continued ringing out for a few short seconds, until the final sound of a successful hit resonated, with only Seo Jun standing firm in the middle of the grim battlefield. Yet, he still carried his sword and turned around, gliding away, just to send the last fool to the arms of his comrades in the high heavens. In just a few fleeting moments, Seo Jun stood still, plunging his sword into the ground to take a mid-match break. Under the moon, red as blood, his gentle voice was no different from a devil coming for lives. If you want to catch me, you'd better bring the entire Shaolin 18 Arhut formation with you. His arrogant demeanor quickly left the audience stunned. Is this streamer using a macro or something? Why is he moving so smooth? That's not the point. He just pulled off 4 consecutive parries. Curious who I am yet? Curious who I am yet? Seo Jun was busy reading comments when he realized there was one enemy still alive. Damn it. Call for backup fast. Before he could take a few steps, Seo Jun quickly threw his sword straight into the center of the opponent's iron helmet. He let out a slow sigh like a reaper, just finishing his shift. His footsteps making the crisp sound of life amidst a space filled with the scent of hell. Seo Jun calmly pulled out his sword and muttered, "6 down, scene over." The image, no different from a horror movie, left the viewers bewildered. Wait, who is this streamer anyway? Is he really a new player? As Seo Jun sincerely replied, "Of course, you guys clearly saw how much I struggled just now, didn't you?" A few who had been watching from the start began to change their tune. I told you. Hold on, this doesn't add up. He couldn't even climb a roof before, and now he's dancing with a sword? I thought this was a stream for total newbies who knew he was an hidden master. Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Seo Jun stood silent for a moment before clearing his throat to remind them. Greatest assassin, first Kharkiv. If anyone spams again, you're getting banned. The other guy, eager to see his skills, hurriedly reported. Understood, boss. That obedient manner made him feel slightly embarrassed. Thanks a lot for being the first one to recognize my skills. But unexpectedly, right after that heartwarming interaction, there was a jerk showing off immediately. The host is really serious about this. What's there to be afraid of getting banned from his tiny channel? Ban me if you're so tough. The notification, LYKI Op 164 has been kicked from the room, accompanied Seo Jun's calm voice. After that, the viewers had a field day laughing and seeing the guest off. That reflex speed is truly top tier. His physical instincts are terrifying, one for the history books. The first ban of Season 1, kinda jealous. He plays perfectly. At this level, he's bound to get famous fast. Now that he's banned, he's only going to regret it later. He glanced quickly at the content of those comments and silently sighed to himself. Is this a good sign? Am I actually doing well? It's tough. In my past life, I never dared to express myself just because of my low standing, being suppressed by the righteous sex, so I never belonged anywhere. But talent can't be hidden, and in the end, I still became a lonely sword saint. That's who I am. If Seo Jun's juniors heard these inner thoughts, they just burst into tears. Please stop. You're just talking nonsense. Do you know how hard it was for us to clean up the mess you made? Seo Jun, the talented senior, didn't bother listening and let it go in one ear and out the other. The moment of reminiscing quickly ended as curious comments started appearing. But seriously, why is your parrying so god tier? Seriously, any tips? Your hands are nimble as a god's. When Seo Jun muttered as he opened his mouth. That. The audience eagerly urged him on. Spill it, man. What is it? What's the secret? Spit out already. Oh my god. I'm dying of curiosity. Who would have thought he'd spout something like a delirious person? Just remember your past life. That's all. Easy, right? Or else, just watch the enemy's attack closely and swing straight down from above, and you're done. That way of speaking made the viewers clearly furious. Like I don't know that already. Like I don't know that already. Like I don't know that already. Are you trolling us? Someone get a pitchfork? The nerve of this guy. Seo Jun saw everyone's anger rising and only managed to mutter a few words. I put effort into explaining it deeply, and you guys are still yelling at me. Unexpectedly, the panicked shouts of the soldiers started to ring out. The intruder is over here, while he just gently muttered a few words. Oh great, they've all gathered now. Then someone quickly explained, following the oblivious trend of the streamer. Standing in one spot too long is how you get surrounded like this. In just a short split second, Seo Jun was surrounded by a platoon from the estate. A viewer who just saw this scene let out an unfavorable comment. Just die here and finish the tutorial. What makes you think you can take on a tour? Making Seo Jun laugh a little bit, feeling slightly offended. Guys, a rookie just pulled off 13 consecutive parries. You don't want to witness that for yourselves. At the moment, Seo Jun refreshingly made his declaration to those watching the live stream. The screams of the NPC guards echoed once again right next to him. Eliminate the intruder quickly. There's only one of them. Don't be afraid. Feet clad in iron armor raced to surround the opponent, leaving him without a blind spot while disrupting his line of sight. Regrettably, the person they were facing was none other than Seo Jun, who held the title of Sword Saint in his past life, possessing calmness beyond that of Gu Bin. He easily grasped every opportunity to strike decisively. However, the number of guards belonging to the Count's house was too large. One after another, they kept rushing in. But for someone like him, this wasn't a major problem. At the moment his sharp eyes scanned behind him, he lowered his body's center of gravity gently to avoid the sharp blade coming from the soldier trying to ambush him. This scene successfully caused quite a stir among the viewers. Oh my god, does he have eyes in the back of his head? Is this streamer some anonymous pro? What are you thinking? Even a pro might not be able to do that. The difficulty posed by Seo Jun ultimately contributed to the anger and screaming from the NPC soldiers' throats. This bastard wasn't panicked or hesitant at all. His feet were determined not to be used for running away, but just to step on the ground as a pivot. And then, as someone holding the Dawn Assassin profession, Seo Jun played by confronting the fierce onslaught of the guards head-on, with an opening performance that could defeat even Shin Ha-yun. Obviously, the bunch of NPCs in front of him could only be pushed back by him, which was not surprising at all. With a clean sword swing, Seo Jun successfully harvested the heads of two opponents. Not a hint of difficulty appeared in the depths of his eyes. He was even relaxed enough to curve his lips into a soft arc. At the very moment he blossomed into space under the control of the boss Ator. This scene made a viewer go crazy. That's insane. The opponent is none other than Cho AM, who has the in-game ID of Korea's undefeated assassin. What the hell is this? Is he really a new player? From the account name belonging to him to his actions on forums, Cho AM was famous as a die-hard fan of the Dawn Assassination Squad, ever since the developer announced that core rule in an exciting press conference about the game. His motto was to focus only on stealth and pure assassination. A clear-all playstyle? Sure, go ahead and try it if you can. But even just trying it is a struggle. The moment he heard those words, Cho AM, who was actually more addicted to the clear-all playstyle than anyone else, went crazy. The increased difficulty only made him more excited and ignited his desire to conquer it. But things are never really that easy. The spike in difficulty left most people trying it with nothing but bitterness and helplessness at the moment they received those game over notifications repeatedly. However, thanks to that, some bizarre playstyles were discovered. This side says, hey, turns out you can just collapse the whole building to finish the assassination mission. And this side also has its own unique method thanks to memory. Just memorize the boss's mechanics, and it's easy. As long as that thing explodes at the right time, the boss is done for. The game is too wild. It didn't stop there. There were even those who created more time-consuming ways to play. I've been hiding for 3 hours, and the target still hasn't come out, successfully making the viewers comment competitively. You're free enough to sit and watch this for 3 hours. You're a tanker, right? Please spend that time researching more. Do something useful. It can be said that no matter which streamer Cho AM watched, he had never witnessed a truly top-tier clearing run, so he could only tell himself. It's held difficulty for a reason. Can't help it. But right at this moment, the light from the decisive slashes belonging to Seo Jun illuminated Cho AM's life with an explosion of excitement so intense that tears of emotion welled up in his eyes. That's right, this is what a true clearing run looks like. After all, the owner of a no-name, insignificant live channel was actually Seo Jun, whom he had accidentally clicked on, and he was currently performing exactly the kind of clear-all playstyle he had been looking for, in such a brutal way. At that moment, waves of excitement spread throughout Cho AM's body and escaped his constantly moving mouth. That's it, it's here. He even spammed comments continuously to show his admiration. How far ahead were you looking? You are the greatest legend in the history of the Assassination Squad, the Lord of my heart. Back to Seo Jun. His powerful series of techniques caused the soldiers to suffer heavy losses and fall flat on the cold concrete floor. At this very moment, Seo Jun had truly conquered the hearts of the viewers on the other side. Clear all aura, clear all aura, clear all aura, clear all aura. Does this mortal pair of eyes deserve to witness this scene? Streamer, are you hacking? Witnessing the series of comments rolling across the system screen belonging to him, he couldn't help but voice his doubt. You guys are acting up over just this much? I'm just dodging what needs to be dodged and parrying what needs to be parried. Hearing those calm sentences from Seo Jun, the audience immediately flooded the screen with crazy questions. Sorry, but are you insane, man? Hilarious. Like we don't know that already. Watching this stream is causing some serious psychological damage. After being talked about so much, he bluntly made an announcement. Really? Anyone who doesn't like it, I'll turn off the stream. Okay? Bye. And just like that, those comments changed their tone in a split second. Wait, Master, I didn't say anything. Big brother, please. Why are you like this? Even though the number was small, Seo Jun had successfully received positive recognition for his first stream. All 6 viewers follow me, not bad. Just as he was busy feeling sentimental, a massive explosion erupted right before his eyes. After that intense destruction, there were feet clad in leather shoes. Under the comments from the viewers, this is where it truly starts. Finally, it's boss fight time. In a flash, the opponent didn't even bother to break wind, just decisively swung a heavy iron ball towards Seo Jun. Luckily, the one to take the damage was the ground beneath his feet, because he had dodged in time, to the astonishment of the followers. How'd he dodge that? His reflex speed is insane. Earlier it shot fast as lightning too. Regardless of the scene just seen, Itor, the final boss, still acted arrogantly by the book. You look like a cowardly rat running around. Those watching couldn't help but complain. How do you think he'll win this fight? Oh, it's so loud. The boss's roar is absolutely terrifying. At the same time, Seo Jun didn't bother standing there watching the screen or listening to him ramble anymore, but decisively lunged forward. By the time the distance between him and Itor was short enough, a light jump was executed by Seo Jun without any hesitation or apprehension at all. He directly swung the sharp steel blade of his opponent, but only obtained a damage of 5. Because the damage was too low, his entire body only stumbled for a moment rather than losing his head completely. And at the very next moment, Itor cheerfully turned his head back with a radiant smile from ear to ear. What are you waving your hand around for, kid? The sharp eyebrows knit tightly. Now Seo Jun felt a part of the difficulty. His HP dropped by just a tiny bit. He truly is a boss. He decisively posed the question to those watching. Hey chat, can this flail weapon be parried? They immediately replied right then and there. Of course not. You're planning to take down the boss in one hit or what? What's with that blood type, oh strength? Not caring about what the player was rambling about, Itor only had one goal, to show himself off with the thing in his hand. You stupid kid, I'll let you taste the absolute power of this flail. With his massive body, he now proved what overwhelming strength was against a Seo Jun who possessed agile movements. However, he also indirectly proved that his heaviness didn't affect his attack speed at all. And so, the property destruction by Itor continued to unfold in waves, while he dodged without breaking a sweat or wasting energy. Seeing that he still hadn't dealt any damage to him, he remained as confident as if victory was already in his grasp. As if waiting for the opponent to pause for a moment, Seo Jun decisively swung himself up again with his superhuman leaping ability. Regrettably, it was even more miserable than last time. Now, the damage he dealt to the boss was only a 3, and he had to receive arrogance from him. It's useless, this body of mine won't fall. At the same time, the stone-bladed flail belonging to Itor slammed straight into the chandelier hanging above. Luckily, Seo Jun had dodged in time and landed on the floor in a cool way. Just as predicted, the damage dealt was still too low. However, the current slow developments caused significant discomfort to the brain that was constantly working. At this rate of chipping away HP, will I make it in time? Indeed, as Seo Jun worried. A viewer with the ID, "You are the greatest in my life," informed him. Once you encounter a Tor, if you don't take him down within 5 minutes, you lose instantly, successfully making his expression change in surprise, because this time was too short. What was that? And it was also thanks to this that he noticed the black countdown clock displaying the words 4 minutes 17 seconds. Since when did that line appear? While dazed by the suddenness of the situation, the attack from a Tor quickly grazed CO June's back narrowly. He is a final boss NPC for a reason. No matter how much he exerts himself, his mouth never gets tired of smiling, even for a second. Where are you looking while fighting, kid? The characteristic gold pupils of CO June's character, Dane, tightened firmly with every line of thought. At this rate, there's no way I can destroy it before time runs out. Now, the system clock only had 3 minutes 42 seconds remaining in his field of vision. I have to use the sword to aim straight at his weak spot. There must be some trick here. Cho AM quickly transformed into a helpful little assistant when offering a solution to his new idol. Lord, if you continuously attack one position, the damage will stack. The current hypothesis of the online community is that this is the only way. Observing a potentially viable plan, CO June couldn't help but nod after a moment of contemplation. Keep hitting the same spot, huh? Well, let's just see. At the moment he leaped away from standing still, he didn't forget to express his gratitude. Undefeated assassin of Korea. Thanks for the info. It didn't take long for CO June to once again shorten the distance to the difficult enemy. By now, the determination toward the target helped him chip away 70 points of HP from the enemy. The audience immediately became noisy. Oh my god, its HP dropped by a bigger chunk now. Cho M was right, and at this moment, CO June landed on the floor and drew his conclusion. Turns out focusing on one point is the key. Currently, Itor's expression no longer had the playfulness of minutes before, leaving only resentment to the point of gritting his teeth. This brat, even though he discovered the breakthrough method, this battle was also nearing its end, with only 2 minutes 16 seconds left. Not much time left, I can't let him catch his breath. After the moment of determination from his brain, CO June decisively lunged and directly grabbed Itor's weapon, making him panic and change color, and the viewers couldn't help but scream. No way, he's actually winning against the boss. Now, the wide area battle immediately shifted to a test of who had the strongest arm strength, with a roar from his throat. You cowardly rat. Naturally, Itor wouldn't stand still and decisively swung his remaining free fist in preparation to launch a technique. Take your filthy hands off my weapon. The anger belonging to him rose, no different from a volcano erupting with hot lava. You bastard. However, CO June clearly knew how to destroy the opponent, so he wouldn't let go. Even though the clock hit 1 minute 7 seconds, he wouldn't let the enemy have any more chances to counterattack. The slashes caused by him dealt damage from 200 to 500, raining down on the boss so much that the viewers had to speak up. Sincerely sorry, Itor. Is that reflex speed actually humanly possible? After a series of fierce and accurate swings, everyone had to cry out uncontrollably. Truly top tier. Wait, is it still not out of HP? To the next question from the comment section, CO June immediately paid attention and didn't forget to respond. Need to add one more strike. Someone excitedly shouted. One last hit, let's go guys. And then, at the moment the countdown clock had 51 seconds left, a bloody slash was directly unleashed. The end belonging to the boss of the level officially caused a shock that was no small feat to the entire mansion. Under the eerie red sky mixed with gloom, the entire area shook violently, even though he was defeated by the player CO June. To serve the next part of the story, Itor was still awake enough to roar powerfully. Hypocritical minions of the assassination squad. Right after that, he decisively tore the paper he had just taken out of his pocket at the moment he made the declaration. I won't die alone here. This scene also marked the fact that his rookie mission had entered the state of mission complete. By now, there was some viewer continuously scrolling the mouse on the computer screen. Series of videos about CO June's powerful images were widely spread on social networks with special titles. The first match of a newcomer passing the tutorial with a 13-1 parry slaughter. The first person in the universe to take down a Tor was recorded. No fakes, no staging. Under the night sky filled with bright stars, the high-rise building still had its lights on, showing the owner hadn't gone to sleep. Going deep inside, sounds of sentiment continued to ring out when that person kept scrolling the mouse on the computer screen. Oh my god, this is beyond imagination. The opponent was no stranger, but Trome himself, who still hadn't stopped his excitement. I can't believe I actually got to see the first clear with my own eyes. Now, the scene of the mansion shaking under Ator's hands is unfolding right before his eyes. Despite the wounds bursting open one after another and pouring out bright red blood, he still has enough strength to scream, "You hypocritical lackeys of the assassination squad." It didn't stop there. Being a count, Ator naturally had a fallback plan, which he triggered by tearing apart the scroll he had just found. And that's when the anomaly officially began. At that moment, Seo Jun couldn't help but gasp at what was hitting his eyes. It was a series of glowing orange-red magic circles appearing one after another, covering the two of them with absolutely no blind spots. He had clearly gone mad from his own defeat, to the point where he decided to blow everything up just to drag his enemy down into the grave with him. Fortunately, the player, Seo Jun, possessed agile movements and high speed, which were enough to help him escape in the nick of time. The moment he pulled away to a safe distance, the guy couldn't help but curse the boss in his mind. That bastard Tor just cast a self-detonation spell, and it was precisely because of this terrifying sound that the guards were instantly drawn in, throwing themselves toward him. Over there, the assassin is over there, under the perfectly round, bright red moon. Seo Jun knew very well that it would be hard to fight off enemies from all sides, so he decisively spun around and ran amidst the roaring shouts behind him. "Catch the assassin, quick!" In the end, after a frantic dash through the vast space, he finally set foot into the dense forest, which was filled with overgrown foliage and blanketing white mist. But no matter how quiet the surroundings were, it couldn't stop Seo Jun's legs from moving without a single break. Indeed, it was absolutely right for him not to dare stop for even a single second. At that exact moment, an enemy arrow from behind streaked toward him. With his sharp senses, he quickly realized that murder intent was bearing down on his back at an incredibly high speed. Unfortunately, just as he stood before a towering, steep cliff, Seo Jun was hit by the strike in a split second, and without a doubt, his foot slipped. He just let himself free fall through the vast open space. A look of sheer disbelief plastered across his face. Right now, the bright moonlight in the sky still shone quietly, but the distance between it and Seo Jun was so far away that he would never be able to reach it. A drop of sweat quietly rolled down his cheek. Even though he was in a perilous situation, his eyes still showed a sense of calmness, as if none of this had anything to do with him. No miracle happened to rescue Seo Jun at the last second. In the end, he finished Dane's life by plunging into the heart of the rushing river. Time ticked away, and the dark, grueling night finally passed. The warm sunlight finally woke up after yielding the stage to the high-hanging moon. After a period of drifting aimlessly, the current finally brought Seo Jun's motionless body to rest on a dirt bank covered by the shade of trees. From his own long, slender hand, fresh blood slowly trickled down, blending into the calm water below. At the moment the entire space fell into a heavy silence from the parting sorrow, someone's feet slowly stepped on the grass to move forward. Before long, the person had closed the distance to the one lying flat on the ground, completely devoid of life in their line of sight. There wasn't a single question as to why the owner of this body was lying here. He just gently squatted down and pulled out an eagle-shaped badge from Seo Jun's clothes, which reflected a brilliant golden light under the morning sun, making it stand out against the surroundings. A triumphant smirk curled up on his lips. That person, wrapped tightly from head to toe, was actually none other than Seo Jun, who was supposed to be in Dane's body for the game's objective, but the system had transitioned both the scene and his mind into the real player's character. Who would have thought that this badass comeback would cause the veteran viewers in Seo Jun's live stream to criticize and cry out? This cutscene is still the exact same as always, huh? Dane has to die every single time. At that point, he flatly made a statement with a nonchalant face. If it were me playing, I would have blocked that arrow. What a shame. The viewers instantly jumped in to express their feelings. That's such a buzzkill, man. But the bitter part is that I totally believe you could do it. You just built different, bro. Seeing this made Seo Jun exclaim, "Talk about a downpour of criticism." And then in the next moment, seeing that the chat had dragged on, he decisively clapped his hands with a loud smack. Next, Seo Jun bluntly brought the topic back to the main point by asking a question to the screen in his line of sight. What do we do next? Right away, an experienced player gave him a tip. Go to the tavern and talk to Christina, bro. He repeated it as if to confirm. Christina? By the time he looked up again, what caught Seo Jun's eyes was a sign featuring a beer mug symbol along with the sun. Come to think of it, that cutscene just now probably teleported him straight to the tavern. Without a shred of hesitation or doubt, he decisively walked over to the doorknob and pulled it open, as if stepping into a completely different world. Inside, the place was filled with lively chatter, a stark contrast to the silence outside. Amidst the area flooded with conversations, Christina stood out like a ray of sunshine thanks to her golden hair, which reflected a soft light around her. Facing this incredibly radiant image, Seo Jun couldn't help but quietly utter in his mind, spot on. Just looking at this visual, you know you have to go talk to her. Just like that, closing the distance to her, he successfully drew the attention of the waitress standing behind the bar. Facing Seo Jun's gently curving lips, Christina slowly delivered her line. Can I help you with something? With a casual look on his face, he honestly expressed his thoughts with a firm nod. Help with something? Yeah, actually, I need quite a few things. The moment he raised the badge that originally belonged to the character Dane he had once inhabited, Seo Jun couldn't help but be speechless in his mind because the previous scene had automatically triggered the dialogue again. Meanwhile, Christina's aquamarine eyes dilated intensely. When she saw the badge, her hand that was wiping a glass suddenly froze, and the cup in her hand shook violently beyond control. You! Her brows instantly knitted tightly, and her tone turned heavier than ever the moment she threw out a three-word question. Who are you? Flashing a textbook smile, a performance of a mysterious and highly capable character from Seo Jun, it was clearly controlled by the system. I only came here because I thought I could help you. As if not quite understanding what the other party had just uttered, Christina hesitantly questioned back. What do you mean by that? So without beating around the bush or any fancy talk, he decisively cut straight to the main point with his next sentence. Let's just say I'm pretty confident in my assassination skills. After a long silence upon receiving that answer, the panicked look finally vanished from her face, replaced instead by sheer seriousness. Wait, are you someone from the West? Seeing that the other party had thrown another question his way with an affirmative tone, Seo Jun admitted it without the slightest hesitation. That's right, you've heard of me too? To fit the game's lore, his identity was crafted perfectly to be logical through Christina's eyes. Rumor has it that he's a mercenary who will take any job as long as the price is right. If that's the case, then he definitely doesn't belong to the cult's faction. After a long moment of processing the data in her mind, she gave a slight nod as if making an official decision. All right, at least we should exchange names, shouldn't we? I'm Christina. As for him, standing before this reasonable question from the other party, Seo Jun also regained control of his body to utter a few words. I am. Before he could say the next word, the system popped up a white box right on cue with the title, What is your name? And an input button below it. Those who had followed him from the very beginning of his journey couldn't help but be surprised. Oh, you're finally setting an account name? Wait, is Chin Chun your real name? The real name sounds pretty legit, actually. Not bothering with the comments around him, he fell into deep thought as his mind worked. Right now, his live streamer name was set as Chin Chun. Because he didn't set a nickname at first, the system automatically used his real name. Might as well go with the safe option. Using his real name is fine too. However, when the answer to Christina's question dropped from his mouth, it was a completely different name, Nameless. Without a single hint of hesitation, Seo Jun flashed his pearly whites, bright enough to star in a toothpaste commercial, and emphasized it again. My name is Nameless. The few viewers witnessing this couldn't help but yell out, Wait, hello, why name yourself Nameless? Like literally, dude. Are you seriously that lazy to think of a name? Little did they know his brain had drifted into old memories. It might sound a bit silly now, but in his past life, the name Nameless was incredibly popular. The martial art style was just different when everyone raced to claim the name Seo Jun had chosen. My name? Nameless. And I'm Nameless number 2. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up. It literally meant having no name, but it just sounded cool and mysterious, which was why it was a massive hit back then. And after entering the 2 characters he had decided on, The system didn't forget to function properly and confirmed one more time. Do you want to use the name Nameless? Once CO June confirmed by hitting the yes button, the notification board updated with different lines of text. You can now accept assassination requests at the Sunshine Tavern. Following that, Christina continued her role as the guiding NPC. Alright, so Nameless it is. To push the story straight into the main topic, he directly asked a question fitting the situation. So how do we stay in touch from now on? She slowly raised her hand toward the eagle badge that belonged to Dane. She paused for a moment before continuing. Her face was indifferent, as if handling official business. But her sharp eyes flickered with a hint of emotion the moment she finished the full line. I need to know the whereabouts of the owner of this brooch. Yet the viewers only saw her cold side and cried out, "Poor Dane, that's savage." And their comments didn't affect the answer that dropped from CO June's lips. I buried him at the Western Pier. Her body stiffened for a split second, but she responded very quickly after that. I see. Not dwelling on that topic for too long, she held out a flower-shaped badge toward him, its polish easily rivaling that of the previous eagle one. Use this to contact me from now on. The moment CO June received the item, the system also popped up to update the situation. You have received a signal stone. In the next moment, Christina spoke in a soft tone unique to her, emphasizing each word. I'm counting on you, Nameless. After a while of chatting with her, he finally accomplished his goal and left the tavern to return to the familiar, quiet open space. In the next minute, he massaged his shoulder for a bit while letting out a sigh of relief. Got the signal stone, so I guess today's mission is wrapped up. Right away, an account named Patient riding a white horse jumped in to ask, so from now on, we're calling you Nameless, right, streamer? Things like this weren't worth worrying about too much, so CO June agreed bluntly. Yeah, but I still haven't thought of a cool name yet, so for now, you guys can just call me whatever. Of course, this couldn't go without Trome, who had become his hardcore fan. Wow, Nameless is the perfect name for a top-tier assassin. Because he had stayed in the gaming capsule for too long just to finish the tutorial stage, he instantly made a choice under the soft sunlight. Alright then, I'm going to sign off the live stream here. I'll be back on air tomorrow at this exact time. The viewers who stuck around until the end all responded cheerfully. The first live stream was a huge success. Bye-bye. This was his first time actually communicating with strangers through a screen, so he couldn't help but feel a bit awkward as he slowly raised his hand. Livestream goodbye. However, CO June truly proved to be someone naturally built to attract views when a comedic moment happened right after. Wait, so you guys are just leaving like that? To which the guy Patient riding a white horse immediately fired back right then and there. Well, you turn off the PC. Where else are we supposed to go, old man? At the moment his avatar turned into a stream of light and almost disappeared, he didn't forget to wonder, does this thing auto-save the game? Making the viewers who hadn't left the stream chat comment. This guy is hilarious until the very last second. My god, this newbie is freaking adorable. But no matter what, this live stream officially ended at the time CO June returned to his room where the lights were still on under the dark night. Looking at the numbers displayed on the electronic screen, along with the notification that the live broadcast had ended, he couldn't help but fall into thought and blurted out. But all 6 viewers stayed until the very last second, remembering the accounts that left a distinct impression on his heart. Even CO June had to express his admiration. Their usernames looked pretty unique, too. In the next moment, something suddenly appeared and caught his attention. It turned out to be a player named Future Light, who, for some reason, had joined CO June's broadcast room. Is this a speedrun playthrough livestream channel? A total novice like him immediately found it confusing. Huh, I didn't see this notification earlier. And it seemed like the view count was continuously rising, making CO June himself crazier with doubt than ever before. Why is everyone suddenly coming in? I clearly turned off the live stream already. After the sensational live stream from CO June, the phone screen flashed continuously with a barrage of comments and hot news about Nameless racing straight to the top trends, making the quiet room instantly turn rowdy. Lounging on the bed, he scrolled through the feedback while casually dragging down the chat box that was moving fast enough to make his head spin. Kim too couldn't help but marvel, the feedback from today's live stream isn't bad at all, huh? What content should I do next tomorrow? Right when he was still buried in his thoughts, CO June suddenly pushed the bedroom door open from outside and yelled with immense energy, "Hey, Kim too. The phone in his hand instantly slammed straight into the bridge of his nose. Damn it, you scared the crap out of me. Holding his face, which had just taken a direct counter hit from his own device, he gnashed his teeth in pure grievance. Did you eat dinner today and swallow your manners along with it? Ignoring the other party's borderline insane state, Seo Jun immediately extended his own black phone over with a highly questioning look. Since I'm just a rookie who just started out, how did it turn out like this? Tu raised his head in confusion. What? Pointing at the screen that was continuously displaying countless player accounts along with consecutive comments, he stated the point that made him suspicious. Why is the chat box still jumping constantly, even though the live stream is off? Witnessing his friend's sudden rise to fame with his own eyes, Tu fell into a brief state of contemplation before uttering, "For real?" After checking back and forth for a while and constantly scrolling through the booming posts on the forum, Tu finally spoke up. I think it's because of this. As he spoke, he turned his phone screen towards Seo Jun and bluntly asked with an affirmative tone, "This is you, right?" On the handheld mobile device right now was a video clip capturing the scene of him clearing the Assassin Squad's dawn stage, along with a clickbait headline, "A newbie clears 13 monsters at once while tanking hits in the tutorial." Looking at the shares skyrocketing and the comments section as bustling as an online flea market, Tu instantly showed a look of admiration. "How are you so good? You just broke the record on your first few days, and you already have fans hyping you up." Meanwhile, Seo Jun was dazed because he didn't understand this new phrase, "hyping me up?" Seeing that he still hadn't grasped the situation, Tu directly pointed straight at the post, knitted his brows, and emphasized each word to the other guy. "If this isn't hyping you up, then what else is it?" By now, the comments had reached 154. This guy's skills are absolutely insane. Sweeping the tutorial boss like it's a Dynasty Warriors game. Perfect parrying is the absolute peak. Seriously legendary. After watching this, I guarantee you guys will never be able to copy this skill. Look at that move over there. He's a literal living legend. I want to hype this guy up so bad. I want to share it for every single person to see. Too crazy. Seo Jun suddenly recognized one of them. The Korea's undefeated assassin is that viewer from earlier, isn't it? Taking the phone back from his hand, Tu directly gave an assessment. At this rate, it's about to hit 30 upvotes. Right? Then, relying on his own experience as a streamer, he grinned excitedly while letting Seo Jun know. Once it hits 30 upvotes, it gets pushed straight to the homepage. When that happens, followers will shoot through the roof. Just wait and see. Next, he didn't forget to give a thumbs up and praise, with heavy enthusiasm pooling in his eyes. "Go to sleep, my friend. You stayed up all night grinding the live stream yesterday. Truly a pro." But Seo Jun only replied flatly, "Go to sleep now. What kind of pro is that anyway?" He said that, but now the sky was full of stars and Seo Jun was still lying down scrolling through his phone because this experience was truly still fresh to him. Even though the time he spent observing wasn't short, he didn't get bored and continued to mutter, while the upvotes increased again. So this is the kind of hyping up he was talking about? Since it was already getting way too late, Seo Jun decided not to dig any deeper as he casually set his phone down on the desk. "Well, I guess I'll just check again tomorrow." The moment the room fell into complete silence, the likes and comments underneath that video were still skyrocketing, as if nobody even bothered to sleep. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the clouds and poured down on the rows of closely packed high-rises, causing the glass exteriors of the buildings to reflect a brilliant light across a corner of the sky. Witnessing the series of posts and topics climbing to the top of the search trends, Seo Jun couldn't help but admit that just as Kim 2 predicted, the upvotes had surpassed the number 30. With his highly rational mind, he couldn't help but feel anxious instead of happy. Usually, whenever something gets a little popular, there's bound to be faction arguments and drama. While he was still focused on scrolling down to read more, his sharp eyes suddenly halted halfway as if drawn by something. His hand immediately flicked the mouse back up to a newly appeared post. This was the forum for the Assassination Squad, but people were also posting about the training area. Once he clicked on it, the full post shared there became clearer along with the title. Why is the newly updated level 10 AI so incredibly frustrating? Everyone knows the level 10 AI changed from Fix's data to another player's data, right? The display name is nameless. I guess that's why everyone is curious about nameless identity. but I actually want to talk about its personality. I watched a clip of an older bro I know fighting against Nameless. Here is the clip. I got the owner's permission before posting this. Sweat rolled down his cheek. CO Jun himself couldn't help but be a bit surprised because he knew very well that the AI was replicated from him. Personality? Huh? Meanwhile, the poster continued their long-winded rant. You know how the Shin Ha-Yun AI used to stand and wait when it saw a player drop their sword? Back then, it just stood there quietly waiting for the player to continue after taking a hit and losing, until meeting the level 10 guy who was set up with CO Jun's attributes. But as for this Nameless AI, the moment it sees a player leave an opening, this bastard lunges in aggressively, like he just struck gold. The second a player slips up even a little bit, it mercilessly beats them to a pulp no matter how much they scream. And I swear, that's not even the end of it. This AI is a total provocateur, taunting people to come at it with hand gestures that make everyone who encounters it want to scream. It even shows blatant contempt on its face. It didn't stop at just one person being affected. A barrage of furious comments slammed into CO Jun's head one after another. What? Regarding the toxic attitude of that new version of the level 10 AI, he suddenly remembered. He must have been chatting with two while playing at that time, which is probably why it turned out like that. Plus, when the data was updating, it felt like a repetitive grind, so he was too bored to bother doing it properly. Thinking about it, he felt a bit wrongly accused. Even though he had been in this virtual game for less than a day, CO Jun was already labeled as a toxic, trolling player, which made him feel genuinely hurt and deeply misunderstood. While the forum was still aggressively picking sides and arguing, an account on the social network suddenly left a highly eye-catching comment. I just came over here right after watching the clip in the training area, but by any chance, is that Master Nameless? Reading this sentence, CO Jun froze slightly for a brief moment. Did someone already figure it out? But as soon as he looked closely at the username that just commented, all his tension instantly deflated. Ah, it's just Old Man Joe AM, Korea's undefeated assassin. Who else? Does that guy have godlike intuition or something? At this point, it started to get a little creepy. Leaning back in his chair and looking at the row of comments that was still growing nonstop, he silently reevaluated everything. To be honest, he didn't expect to get this much attention. Closing his eyes for a few short seconds, for the first time, CO Jun clearly felt the pressure of fame coming way too fast, but suddenly receiving something too massive isn't necessarily a good thing. However, that thought only existed for a fleeting moment before being quickly pushed aside by him. Didn't his experience from his past life already teach him that lesson? Opening the lid of the gaming capsule placed next to the desk, CO Jun calmly reached a conclusion for himself. Strength that comes when you're not ready is no different from poison. Sitting down inside the capsule to prepare to log into the game, he also firmly let go of the doubt with determined words in his mind, just like this, slow and steady. And then the consciousness transfer unit from the system quickly went to work the moment CO Jun's eyes closed. In the next instant, CO Jun's eyes snapped open again, filled with the fortitude and sharpness of a sword god who had been through countless major events. Just progressing a little bit every day is enough. By the time the last word dropped, it was also the exact moment the light from the system flashed, proving that it was working properly. A moment later, when he looked back at his live stream page, which had reached the number 432, he finally had to admit one thing. Just like Tu said, the number of followers had visibly increased. Watching the lines of data jumping continuously in front of him, the corners of CO Jun's mouth curved up slightly as the bustling memories of yesterday replayed in his sight. But the surprising thing was that the number of people who actually watched the live broadcast yesterday was exactly 6 folks. However, he didn't linger in the waiting area for too long either and decisively placed his hand on the start broadcast button. I wonder how many people will show up today. The exact moment the live stream button was activated, the system interface instantly flashed and a notification appeared right in the middle of the screen. Chin Chun has started broadcast. Right after that, the game also officially opened with the first introduction to a place completely different from the Assassination Squad's dawn as he entered the city of Altion. Deep, dramatic music resonated, and before his eyes was the image of an ancient castle standing tall. The setting of this game is the city of Altion. For players who need to execute missions, the system didn't forget to provide more data to make things clearer for him. This place is divided into 4 main districts. The Imperial Palace is the place for those of the royal class and the characters holding the highest power. The Upper Sky Tower is where the priests and sorcerers reside. The high-class district is where the nobles live, and the commoner district is located at the outermost part of the city, meant for ordinary citizens and all kinds of elements scrambling to make a living every day. Seo Jun's mind worked continuously. A player could accept assassination missions anywhere. But word has it that during actual gameplay, you can still go around performing random assassinations without needing to accept a mission beforehand. After all the introductory information ended, his journey in Altion officially began. And the moment his body was no longer controlled by the system was the exact moment he raised his hand to greet the screen, "Hello, live streamer." At that exact time, the chat section that was previously quiet instantly exploded like a disturbed beehive, finally made it into the room. "Let's go, brothers. Hello, I finally got into this legendary live stream channel. Oh, turns out it really isn't Joe Am's channel. I'm getting goosebumps. Master Nameless." While the crowd of viewers was spamming like crazy, a stray account suddenly popped up with pure doubt. Is this the live stream channel of that famous old man Joe Am? Less than a second later, someone else lunged in to counter fiercely. "No, it's not, bro. You got the wrong place. Holy crap." Seo Jun just let out a calm laugh and casually explained briefly. "That's right, this isn't Joe Am's channel, guys. And just to clarify, I didn't bribe him either." These words of his made them burst into laughter, shutting down the argument in a single heartbeat. Right when the atmosphere was still lighthearted, a donation notification suddenly popped up in the middle of the screen. "How on earth do I do this?" Donated 10,000. "After watching your clip, I want to solo him too, but I can't beat him. What do I do now?" "I'll hold my breath waiting for your answer." Looking at his first donation amount in front of him, he raised his eyebrows slightly with appreciation. This first donation of his, but why did the question wander off into the woods like that? However, he didn't dwell on it for too long. With a motto that if you take the money, you gotta deliver, he didn't hesitate to give the other party a tip. "Thank for the donation. How on earth do I do this?" The Reddit tour, right? Just keep aiming at one spot consecutively. I mean, it's super easy, isn't it? As a result, the chat section instantly fell silent for a few awkward seconds, and then simultaneously exploded. What is the teacher writing on the board over there? How is that guide supposed to help much? As a viewer from yesterday, I advise you guys not to ask this old man anything. 10,000 flushed straight down the toilet. Seeing them comment like that, he couldn't help but fall into contemplation, realizing that for someone's first time donating money, his answer seemed a bit too vague, didn't it? So Seo Jun rubbed his chin, thought for a moment, and spoke up. "All right then, if I were to give a useful tip." While visualizing his weak points on the shoulders, head, and groin as he gave the advice, it's best to aim straight at the NPC's vital spots. If they get hit there, they'll panic and their footwork will get sloppy. In the end, he locked in a strategy to beat a Tor by just hammering at one spot, timing it for when he slips up to stab a vital area, and dodging strikes with extreme agility. As soon as the words left his mouth, an account named Player Game Over donated 1,000. "I can breathe now." Someone else chimed in, "Holy crap." But Seo Jun appeared confused. "Congratulations, my friend." Not stopping there, he scanned through the IDs that had just commented one by one with curiosity. Looking closely, he saw a lot of strange nicknames he had never seen before. "I wonder how many viewers we have today." His finger froze in midair when he saw an astonishing number displaying on the electronic screen. Right now, there were 327 live viewers. The comments at this time kept rushing in to urge him. "So when are you going to drop a guide for us? Or is the network just lagging on my end alone?" As for him, he was in no mood to care. 327 people. This made Seo Jun, who had experienced countless major events in his past life, break into a cold sweat in this life. It was way more than he imagined. He thought at most it would be around 100 people. He looked around and curiously asked everyone, "All right, so what should we do today, guys?" Given suggestions by the fans, the audience started to fiercely propose ideas. Do a Dynasty Warriors-style sweet playthrough, streamer. Are we finally about to see some sword dancing? Seeing them bickering and criticizing each other online, he let out an amused laugh. "These young kids have so much fun playing together. Please don't fight." At this time, a social media account directly suggested an option that was better than the guys above. Just go wander around to see how it is, old man. If you want to make money, take a contract from the Assassin's Guild or go pickpocketing, otherwise just go sightseeing around the city. Awesome. This is exactly what an open world is about. Every comment made sense, leaving CEO June a bit hesitant with everyone having a different opinion. Seeming to have thought of something, the corners of his mouth curved up mischievously. In that case, for starters, standing in the crowded street, CEO June directly made a bold decision. Let's just do a few casual pickpocketing jobs to warm up first and see how it goes. Lively sounds continuously echoed throughout the small street. Cheap, super cheap, right here. Come check out rare goods, everyone. Mom, buy this for me. Suddenly, a rider appeared, blatantly causing chaos. Out of the way, quick! He was completely off guard when a dark shadow dashed past him, and afterward, he even aggressively roared out in anger. Hey, brat, how are you walking? Don't you know how to look where you're going? By the time the other party had completely gone, the street still echoed with his cursing. That disrespectful, nameless brat. Not only was CEO June not angry, but he also skillfully dodged through the sea of people. He faintly flashed a satisfied smile. I tried applying a few grappling techniques. Who knew it would be such a piece of cake? That's 3 successful pickpockets in a row. The comments section immediately became turbulent. Wait, so is this a martial arts overlord stream or a master thief stream, my god? What kind of streamer is this? Did he come from the streets? I heard this old man travel from a martial arts world. The netizens got another good laugh. But generally, the most fun part of pickpocketing is being chased by guards until you're out of breath, which made CEO June more and more confident. At this rate, I won't have to worry about starving to death anywhere I go. The packed gold pouches were brought out by him to show off, making everyone utterly shocked. Big bro, you've earned enough money to buy a luxury apartment already. Suddenly, a deep, raspy voice rang out, shattering the atmosphere. Hey kid, freeze right there. Towering figures had approached CEO June's domain before anyone realized. He inquired with a bit of suspicion. Me? The thug appeared irritated as he interrogated. Yeah, who else? Looks like you just made quite a handsome profit, huh? He slowly stepped closer with an insinuation. You know that if you want to do business on this turf, you need our permission, right? While CEO June still maintained a completely calm face, the businessman went straight to the point. Do you guys mean this? He heard that and was thoroughly amused. Yeah, exactly that. He displayed a cunning expression to propose. Seeing that your harvest is pretty fat, share some with us. Which made him only able to shake his head in utter exasperation. What kind of freaky game is this where you don't run into guards while pickpocketing, but you run into thugs coming to shake you down instead? Lines of comments kept appearing continuously on the screen like that. The degree of freedom is unreal. Beat them all to death, bro. It's time to party. Are we finally about to watch it? CEO June coldly brushed the other party's hand off. Let's clean out these guys too, brothers. They quickly became more excited than ever. That's right, go right ahead. You just need to give the boss a beating, and it's done. Defeating their ringleader will make this whole market clean instantly. CEO June smiled as he put away the gold pouches. In that case, today's stream goal will be to thoroughly clean up this market. The screen instantly jumped with a barrage of comments. Is bro planning to go look for the Butcher Gang? Planning to test his skills against the Butcher Gang. This deal is too sweet. It's a waste not to watch. I bet this streamer doesn't even know what the hell the Butcher Gang is. His face suddenly turned completely blank. What is parrying anyway? The number of viewers also gradually increased. Alright, let's hit the road. At another place at this time, chaotic sound were also transmitted. He hasn't gone far yet. Find him quick. Logan couldn't help but feel annoyed at losing the prey that was already laid out right before his eyes. Suddenly from high above, a hand appeared peeking out as if intentionally hiding its existence. Alpaca's face was now completely pale as he was executing a bare-handed assassination challenge. Oh crap, looks like I got caught again. He looked at the situation below with difficulty. I swear this camera angle is truly cursed, as if focusing way too intensely made him fail to notice the candle that had reached its limit right by his hand. The candle residue immediately fell straight on Logan's head. That cowardly brat, he angrily screamed a warning. There you are. Alpaca's body felt as if his pressure points had been struck. Damn it, I'm caught. The moment he was discovered was also the exact time the system announced game over. He once again had to return to the starting line. He couldn't even remember how many times he'd been caught by their lackeys already. The viewers watching through the screen couldn't avoid a sense of helplessness either. That's the 4th time already, old friend. Making Alpaca extremely embarrassed. Thanks. He put on a dejected look to complain. If I could just take him down, District 4 will be cleared. But it's way too hard. The netizens were also completely helpless against this case. Can someone actually pass this? It feels like it won't be done even by harvest season. The rulers are inherently undefeated, after all. Rulers is precisely the term used to refer to those who head the gangs managing District 4 of the city of Altion, who are also the prominent villains in the game. Among them is the Queen, the leader governing the country. Next is the Magic Tower Master, below 1 person and above 10,000 people. One cannot fail to mention the Royal Commander, the influential names in the noble circle, and the Kingpin of the Butcher Gang, such as him, especially since he just spawns randomly in multiple hideouts, making tracking him down incredibly exhausting. Alpaca quickly opened the interface menu, looking for the secret map of the Butcher Gang. Even the viewers were utterly demoralized. This trick again, he let out a soft, heavy sigh. Let's see which corner that guy is hiding in first. The result appearing before his eyes made him even more exhausted. A theater troupe, he crawled into another troublesome place. The notification sound kept getting louder and louder by the minute. Mad Dog donated 10,000. If he's at the theater troupe, just lunge in and wreck the map. But I saw someone wreck that map barehanded already. So why are you struggling so hard? Alpaca inquired with a bit of skepticism. Thanks for the 10,000 donation, Mad Dog. But what do you mean by wrecking the map? You guys know this game doesn't allow a sweep-style playthrough like that. The crowd heard that and was extremely astonished. No way. Don't you scroll through the community forum? He immediately went to update himself on the community forum situation. His eyes suddenly flashed with a glint of light. Oh, someone actually did it on the forum? Thousands of beautiful scenarios gradually formed in Alpaca's head. If that person can sweep through this map, I will go bow to that person as my master and personally take care of that guy myself. Challenging an all-night stream, he stated firmly with certainty, I will stream continuously until I finish sweeping that guy under master's guidance. The comment section instantly became rowdy. Dropout student donated 10,000 G. Do you dare take responsibility for that statement? But he still maintained an arrogant look to promise. Bring it on, what's there to fear? I'll take full responsibility, because that was impossible. Easily earned donation money suddenly transmitted bursts of delighted laughter from the screen, making him shudder slightly. A crazy thought suddenly flashed within Alpaca. Wait, is this real? He fearfully asked to probe. Well, if the person who cleared that is player bro, then I'd like to cancel the all-night stream bet. Seeing that, the crowd immediately piled in to tease him. Scared already? Huh? The terrifying power of netizens is exposed once again. Wake up, Alpaca. Loverboy, just take the L. The donation amount kept increasing by the minute. Making his face turn completely pale, Mad Dog donated 10,000 G. Alpaca is dead meat. Completely contrary to that peaceful scene, CO June's side earlier had reached the peak of chaos. Shouts were continuously emitted into mid-air. The intruder went to the lower floor, block him at all costs. Dozens of guards gradually gathered to surround the prey. But CO June's composed and casual demeanor still left everyone utterly stunned. But it looks like Bro is about to clear the stage any second now anyway. Going back to 30 minutes before the appearance of Divine Fist Comet, the sound of rapid footsteps continuously echoed throughout the small alley. The comment section also kept buzzing with discussions. Where are they leading him to? This alley looks and smells way too damp and moldy. CO June let out a soft, bored shake of his head. Well, let's just tail them for now. But he was instantly shut down by netizens. You don't even have an ounce of reputation yet. There's no way you're extracting information about him. They simultaneously spoke up to remind him. If you want to find the traitor in the gang, you have to clear the related side quests first. Which made him a bit curious. Is this gang that hard to take down? The viewers couldn't help but feel helpless. My friend, you're planning to overthrow a ruler here. What makes you think it's a piece of cake, huh? CO June's face immediately flushed with a blank look. What the hell is a ruler, anyway? The live screen instantly jumped with a series of comments. Our streamer is truly something else. Did you new recruit see that? This move reminds me of back when he asked, What is parrying anyway? Come on, are you pulling our legs? Everyone once again got to laugh until they couldn't breathe, dying of laughter here. No way someone donated 1,000 and you don't even know what a ruler is, yet you claim you're going to hunt them down. Seo Jun's brows also gradually knit together because of that. I'm asking what it is here. Someone explain it for me, will you? The crowd started to pile in to mock him. What do you expect from a guy who didn't even know what parrying was? Which made him feel a bit guilty. Last night, I did go online to look up a strategy against him too, but he let out a soft, heavy sigh. The guides all exposed the informants, causing them to get retaliated against. So, choosing any option feels a bit off. Suddenly, a flawless plan popped into his head. They'll just beat them to a pulp to the point where they won't dare utter a word or think about retaliation, and it's done. Too simple. Suddenly, the thug's voice snapped him back to reality. Hey, brat, if you have anything good, cough it all up while I'm still talking to you nicely. He faintly flashed a cunning smile. And that wallet you just swiped earlier, too. The viewers couldn't help but feel embarrassed for him. Knew it would turn out like this anyway, so I'm not surprised at all. He once handled 13 guys, this place is just a fly. Rina still hadn't sensed the danger and boldly stepped closer. Are you deaf? I told you to cough it up. Even the sidekick next to him couldn't help but burst out laughing. Big bro, looks like this brat is scared out of his mind. Alright, they kept mocking Seo Jun's appearance. Go easy on him. Come on, big bro. Oh, look at that, did we scare you? If you know what's good for you, hand over the money and we'll spare your pathetic life. Only the netizens realized the truth. Looking at his face right now, he seems like he's totally pissed off. Seo Jun calmly inquired a probe. Do you guys know where he is? The thug heard that and was briefly confused. He is our boss. Of course we know. He lowered his voice, emphasizing each word. Where? Which made him start to fly into a rage. Are you crazy? Why the hell should we confess to you? Seo Jun slightly clenched his hand into a fist. Is that so? A smile gradually surfaced on his handsome face. Then take a punch first, and we'll talk later. He noted with amusement that indeed, fists are always the most easily understood common language. While Rina still hadn't realized the issue, what the hell is this bastard mumbling about? He angrily roared to order. Hey, rush him and teach him a lesson, quick. As soon as the sentence finished, they lunged forward planning to gang up on Seo Jun. But his agile movements easily dodged all the attacks. His close combat capability also grew higher with each accumulation. Dante furiously screamed out loud. Good job, you cowardly, nameless brat. He didn't hesitate for a second to thrust his weapon straight towards Seo Jun. On the other hand, he nonchalantly grabbed the leg of the person in front of him. Just less than a few seconds later, he easily threw his opponent down. Dante was in so much pain that his eyes rolled back, his mouth continuously gasping for air from suffocation. But Seo Jun showed no sign of letting him off as he took out his weapon, preparing to finish the game. The sidekick couldn't hold back any longer and rushed into the fight. You bastard. He didn't hesitate for a second to deal a fierce attack down upon Seo Jun. Right at that moment when victory seemed certain, his body involuntarily trembled violently. Seo Jun's gaze suddenly became unusually sharp, directly overwhelming his opponent with his own murder intent. He didn't argue any further and directly took down the other party. There wasn't a single ripple on his handsome face, as if he was all too used to doing this. The space suddenly became quieter than ever, leaving only Seo Jun alone in the middle of the small alley. The comment section was extremely thrilled to have their eyes treated by a fan. Watching this map sweep playthrough is pretty gripping, huh? Who else is thinking maybe I should give a shot too? Then stop dreaming, okay. Rina's face had now turned completely pale. Damn it. The thought of fleeing had just flashed in his head when his body suddenly lost the ability to move. Seo Jun interrogated in a stern voice. Where is he? He still resolved to maintain his initial stance. Even if I die, I won't tell. As soon as the sentence finished, the sword in Rina's hand completely deformed from the overwhelming strength of the person in front of him. Seo Jun's face darkened as he growled. Where is he? Making the netizens extremely exasperated. Bro, he fainted. He can't say another word. So why are you asking? His eyes gleamed with a threatening hint of murder intent. Answer me, quick. The viewers couldn't avoid shuddering either. Is this a new style of torture? Truly the Lord of Madness. Rina trembled as he struggled to make a sound. Tomb number 13. His fingers suddenly twitched slightly. His whole body right now is flattened on the floor of the Grand Theater. The comments section instantly fell into chaos. How can this even make sense? This old man is a devil incarnate. What kind of X-top tier AI from earlier was that? It literally carved out a new path. I'm getting goosebumps. Try to block donated 1000 G. Oh man, you tried your absolute best to stop a monster like this. Clear his name immediately. Holy crap. He sacrificed himself while on duty. CO Jun boredly fiddled with the weapon in his hand. But this dagger is so short, it feels annoying to hold. He scanned around to check the situation. I wonder if there's anything better around here. Suddenly, he spotted a useful item not far away. That one looks decent. The sound of clashing metal echoed continuously from one space to another like that. Thousands of people ran chaotically on the street, as if being a second late would end their lives. CO Jun's face was completely expressionless as he swept through every single turf. He used his agile movements to easily take down everyone blocking his path. Even the most resilient creatures had to collapse before his terrifying power. CO Jun calmly admired the battle trophies he had just created. He lightly shook his head in sheer disappointment. The game developers are seriously overdoing it, cramming 30 guys into this tiny theater and telling me to assassinate them, leaving the viewers completely frustrated. Who asked you to speak for all of us? Suddenly, a bitter voice rang out, breaking the quiet atmosphere. Approved. Right after those words, a glowing object was launched into midair instead of a declaration of war. CO Jun's eyes couldn't help but widen in amazement. But he quickly regained his usual calm composure shortly after. A barrage of swords flew rapidly towards CO Jun, his gaze turning sharp and cold alongside a determined look. In an instant, a fierce rain of swords rushed in, and CO Jun immediately shattered the attack with a powerful technique. In an instant, a fierce rain of swords rushed in, and CO Jun immediately shattered the attack with a powerful technique. Heavy footsteps and a mocking voice echoed. Not bad. The corners of his mouth slowly curled into a meaningful smirk. But still, he clearly declared with a provocative look, "Can you block this hit of mine?" The space immediately shook violently as a barrage of swords launched like missiles. He still maintained a nonchalant look. That is a whole lot of them. Then, CO Jun spun his weapon in a circle, his gaze turning sharp and cold, as the sword stabbed into the walls, leaving deep, cold cracks imprinted on them. Unexpectedly, a sword reversed direction, piercing right through him and pinning itself straight into the wall. Absolutely peaked. The corners of his mouth slowly curled into a meaningful smirk. He blocked those incoming strikes so smoothly. Is there anything in this world he can't block? The viewers are totally right. His gaze instantly turned into one of amusement. Good fight. What's your name? CO Jun's voice dropped, carrying an imposing weight. No shoe. A notification immediately popped up on the screen. Usually, they don't even bother asking for a name. They must be totally bricking it right now. His face showed a mix of complicated emotions. Good name. The strong deserve respect. Glowing red spears connected to chains were hovering in midair. Therefore, he clearly declared with a crazed look, "I'm going all out." It was rushing forward at high speed. He still maintained a nonchalant look when facing it. CO Jun at this moment was surrounded by heavy, moving chains. The spears suddenly attacked him from behind. In just a split second with his agile movements, CO Jun used his leg to launch a powerful counterattack. He briefly fell into a moment of deep thought. When he was just throwing knives, I thought he'd be an easier catch than a Tor. CO Jun's gaze at activity. It turned out that very weapon was what stopped everyone from beating the game. He slowly approached with intense bloodlust, and he spoke up in a highly mocking tone. They call this an assassination game, yet the melee design is so heavily invested. A message immediately popped up on the screen. Or maybe the game devs actually want to steer players toward a mindless hack-and-slash style. Melee has been an important part of Assassin's Dawn right from the start. The corners of his mouth curled into a provocative smirk. Not coming up? His eyes widened with a crazed look. Then I'm coming at you first. He launched a direct attack toward him. CO Jun briefly froze as the iron chains were about to rush in. In just a split second, it slid past him in a decisive manner. He immediately rushed forward upon seeing CO Jun backing away. Notifications kept popping up continuously. I just see him standing there blocking attacks the whole time. Even Anonymous seems helpless against this guy. That combo chain was unblockable right from the start. I was acting so smug earlier too. His face showed a mix of complicated emotions. This match was clearly harder to swallow than taking on 13 lives all at once. Seo Jun still maintained his calm look when facing it, but his eyes were sharp. Even if it's a mountain of blades or a forest of swords, I can still find a way through. He rushed forward, attacking furiously. They're blocking the way. He suddenly paused and spoke in a doubtful voice. Is it just the two of you? His face slightly changed color when facing the powerful weapon. Did you think we'd just let you walk past? His footsteps stumbled backward, his entire body trembling as he forced himself to hold his ground. The 3-time CEO Jun's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. Was a one-shot kill move against normal monsters. But with a boss type like him, it was only enough to buy time for a single round of attacks. He was tightly protected by iron chains. Even that is tough to deal with because his chains guard him so well, making it hard to land a single decent hit. He was tightly protected by iron chains. Even that is tough to deal with because his chains guard him so well, making it hard to land a single decent hit. Seo Jun gripped his weapon tightly. Because I just need to land my strikes accurately, and that's it. His face turned serious. Seo Jun's footsteps imprinting heavily on the ground. A stance that I have practiced tens of thousands of times to sharpen my blade. Planting his feet firmly, he still maintained a calm look while gathering his energy. Then, with solid force from his lower body, he took an elite stance. Seo Jun channeled his internal energy, creating a sense of extreme, compressed pressure before unleashing his move. His eyes were fully focused and sharp, and Seo Jun's expression was absolutely overwhelming on a psychological level. A direct hit to the head left him dazed. The insane power caused him to collapse, and the screen seemed to explode. What just happened? His guard got totally broken. He made it look like a piece of cake. The truth is, when someone makes something look super easy, it proves they're a real professional. His face showed a mix of complicated emotions. Since this is virtual reality, the body feels a bit different, so I wasn't too sure at first. But in the end, it didn't matter at all. Seo Jun felt every single movement of his body. Seo Jun felt every single movement of his body. From the way he placed his feet, he controlled his body rhythmically, twisting his upper torso. Seo Jun briefly fell into deep thought regarding the trajectory of his arm. The corners of his mouth slowly curled into a meaningful smirk. Every moment was adjusted to the most optimal stance. Suddenly, the chains rushed in like a storm. Even if the body feels different, it doesn't matter at all. Seo Jun's entire body instantly went on high alert. He quickly backed away to dodge the attack, his face distorted with rage. You bastard, D. The spears connected to the chains aimed straight at Seo Jun. It wrapped tightly around the weapon in his hand. Seo Jun's eyes turned sharp along with a wild look. He decisively counterattacked, making the space feel like it was shaking. The chains now lay on the ground, broken into pieces. That move won't work a second time. Seo Jun's footsteps instantly quickened. He leaped into the air and unleashed a fatal blow toward him. This is fun. This exact moment of swinging my weapon. The corners of Seo Jun's mouth curled into a mocking smirk. The sole proof of my past life. A blinding light engulfed the entire space. Sword tips dug deep into the ground. His eyes instantly turned blood red with pure madness. Seo Jun poured all his strength into his hands. The powerful finishing blow made the space feel like it was shaking. The guy's health bar was completely depleted at this point. He reacted nonchalantly to the notification sent overstating he had defeated the fake boss, rewarding him with 1 fragment. A barrage of comments flooded in. Anonymous is a god. Anonymous is a god. Anonymous is a god. Anonymous is a god. OMG, I just witnessed the first person in the world to beat this game. OMG, I just witnessed the first person in the world to beat this game. OMG, I just witnessed the first person in the world to beat this game. The account, Josie an Assassin, donated 100,000 won. This is the true hope of the Muzu School 111. Seo Jun spoke up in an excited tone. Thanks for the 100K won donation, Josie an Assassin. He suddenly froze when he noticed the view count. Seo Jun's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. When did the viewership get this high? The sunset cast its glow over the ancient castle, and the White Federation. Seo Jun's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. He suddenly froze when he noticed the view count, which was even higher than his follower count. Seo Jun's mind instantly went blank. He suddenly felt embarrassed as his cheeks flushed red. Seo Jun's mind instantly went blank. He suddenly felt embarrassed as his cheeks flushed red. Seo Jun briefly fell into a moment of deep thought. Kim Tu told me not to worry too much about views, but Tae-woo frantically questioned me. Even if there's only one viewer at first, you have to give it your all. If people suddenly flood in to watch, you must absolutely not get arrogant. Are you listening? This is a piece of golden advice soaked in the sweat and tears of your buddy here. The corners of his mouth curled into a meaningful smirk. But how could anyone hold back when they're this happy? Seo Jun's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. And this is also the first time in the world anyone has beaten it, right? Comments kept coming in. This is how he proves his skills. Damn, this is insane. This guy is literally playing a whole different game by himself. Blood from the pipe drip drop by drop onto the ground. The account Pipe Assassin donated 100,000 won. What's scarier is that he actually took it down with an iron pipe. Pipe Assassin is cracking up. The comment section was still buzzing. What were we supposed to do in this match without a damage buff? The comment section was still buzzing. What are we supposed to do in this match without a damage buff? What else? He still tore it apart, which makes it even scarier. He spoke up indifferently. Thank for the 100,001 donation, Pipe Assassin. Seo Jun's gaze instantly turned into one of confusion. By the way, I have a question. He stood proudly amidst the gloomy scenery. Aren't the guards coming? A notification appeared on the screen. The guards in this world are exactly like cops in Grand Theft Auto. They never show their faces when a mission is active. The guards are hiding in a corner, trembling. The assassin is just too terrifying. They immediately chased after them. These kids are easy pickings. Just take care of them cleanly. Save me. A comment came in right away. Yet when I go pickpocketing, they pop out of nowhere. Seo Jun's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. I see. Well then, shall we get going? As the sunset gradually faded, he slowly walked along the bustling street. Seo Jun suddenly froze when a shout rang out. Let's see. The man in black stood facing him, completely hooded. Seo Jun's voice dropped heavily with authority. Who's there? Christina tightened her hooded cloak. Her face showed a mix of complicated emotions. You took him down. A notification immediately popped up on the screen. Christina is absolutely gorgeous. Christina immediately handed over a pouch with a sincere look. Thanks to you, we are one step closer to escaping this oppression. Her face still maintained a calm expression. Thank you. Here is your reward. He briefly paused with a doubtful look. Currency received. Seo Jun's expression turned into one of confusion. I didn't even take the quest to defeat him, yet I still get a reward? A notification immediately rang out. I was too busy staring at Christina's face. What is happening right now? Exactly, even if you don't take the quest, they still hand out rewards as usual. He lightly sighed. I don't even have a place to spend money anyway. A faint laugh came from the other side of the screen. Pipes are thrown all over the street. Who even needs cash? Seo Jun then smirked mockingly. If I wasn't going to take the money, I don't even know why I killed him. The guy is probably feeling pretty bewildered too. Christina then slowly spoke up. Where shall we go next? He decisively cut her off. Do I really need to tell you? Her face showed a mix of complicated emotions. All right then. Christina decisively turned around and left. Then I'll head out first. See you later, Anonymous. Seo Jun briefly fell into deep thought, his face still maintaining a nonchalant look. Then, Seo Jun's gaze turned toward the ancient castle. Does this count as a successful assassination? A notification immediately popped up on the screen. But I never admitted this game was about assassination. Do you even know what assassination means? Right then, a comment was instantly sent. This kind of mindless bluntness is exactly his charm. His gaze turned slightly confused. Is it time to celebrate the victory now? Seo Jun then spoke in a mocking tone with a nonchalant look. I've done everything I needed to do. Now I'm off to party. A notification immediately interrupted. Hold on a second. Sounds trying to hold him back rang out repeatedly. Hold on a second. How can things end this easily? He ignored the notification in a decisive manner. See you next time. Seo Jun at this moment was gradually drifting into unconsciousness. A moment later, he lazily stretched his arms as he woke up. Seo Jun suddenly froze when he saw Taewon appear, and he immediately questioned him with a displeased look. Hey, why are you slacking off like this? What the hell are you doing in someone else's room? He lightly raised an eyebrow and spoke indifferently. I have the day off today, so I sat here watching your live stream. Pretty engaging. Seo Jun was holding back his anger. Then why the hell did you come into my room to watch it? Also, get your foot off me right now. Taewon then spoke in a mocking tone. My room is my room, and your room is also my room. Why do you always gotta be so difficult? He furiously slammed a pillow at him. From now on, kids, please go to the bathroom quickly. A moment later, Seo Jun still maintained a nonchalant look. We can continue now. How was the live stream? Any feedback? Taewoo closely followed the screen and exclaimed. For 440 viewers, this atmosphere is pretty hype. Taewoo closely followed the screen and exclaimed. For 440 viewers, this atmosphere is pretty hype. The mouse cursor immediately moved across the screen, Seo Jun's gaze turning dark with a wild look. Where is Drake? A notification immediately popped up on the screen. Not yet. Currently, he is still dazed and hasn't woken up yet. A barrage of news sites continuously reported the news. Who is that guy? Anonymous featured posts from now on. Anyone who doubts Anonymous is my enemy. 102 likes. They told us to test Ator's strength, so he just went ahead and finished him off too. Any objections? Sounds like the title of some light novels. What is a fragment? I've never seen that before. I played the beta version and watched the ending, but I've never seen that item before. What? Wasn't that granted upon defeating him? No, you don't get it just by beating him. You only get it when you defeat him in Deep M mode. I'm so incredibly curious. His face showed a mix of complicated emotions. It seems like there's still no information about the fragment of order. Seo Jun suddenly paused with a doubtful look. Can it really only be obtained in Deep M mode? What on earth is this item used for anyway? The phone screen showed a negative comment. If you guys are that excited about your inside jokes, I'll just leave a like then. The corners of Tae-woo's mouth instantly curled into a meaningful smirk. Usually, when you start getting famous, you'll have to take some heat. The corners of Tae-woo's mouth instantly curled into a meaningful smirk. Usually, when you start getting famous, you'll have to take some heat. The corners of Tae-woo's mouth instantly curled into a meaningful smirk. Usually, when you start getting famous, you'll have to take some heat. Tae-woo indifferently walked out of the room and exclaimed, "There are over 10,000 followers on the online community right now." He briefly fell in a deep thought. Is this telling me to become even more famous? But how? Seo Jun suddenly froze in disbelief. A barrage of news articles was posted, and his gaze turned into one of confusion. Alpaca, huh? Sharing information about the legendary final capsule of the late Great Master in the attic. 1.7 million views. 6 days ago, he clearly declared with a provocative look, "I will keep challenging until I defeat him in Deep M mode. I am paying respects to my master." The corners of Seo Jun's mouth slowly curled upward. Can you actually take responsibility for those words? Then I'll take responsibility by failing miserably. Tae-woo briefly froze when he heard his name called. Tae-woo. He walked into the room and slowly spoke up. Do you know anything about a streamer named Alpaca? He replied nonchalantly. Yeah, Ido. We've collaborated a few times. What? The corners of Seo Jun's mouth curled into a meaningful smirk. I have a little favor to ask you. Scene cuts to a dense forest. Alpaca sitting down exhaustedly. I don't even know how many times I've failed now. His face darkened as he watched the screen. M3 is me. You play so terribly. Just quit the game already. Just give up on this barehanded challenge. Alpaca's mood instantly plummeted like falling into an abyss. This malicious brat. I should have finished him off by using the reputation gained from assassinating other NPCs. He suddenly paused with a doubtful look. Big Bang suddenly appeared with a cold gaze. Alpaca tremblingly approached and softly called out, "Big Bang." It immediately spat toward him. Hey everyone, Big Bang is here to cheer you guys on. A notification immediately popped up on the screen. Big Bang actually came. Alpaca's face darkened with rage. Oh, no matter how many times I watch it, I just can't stand this joke. His gaze slightly dropped in utter helplessness. There's absolutely nothing to play here. A notification immediately appeared on the screen. If successful, I will revere that person as my master, learn from them, and continue the challenge until I defeat him in Musa mode. Alpaca briefly froze with a doubtful look. What? Someone actually beat it already? Are you kidding me? He slowly reached his hand toward the screen, clicking on the link for the Musu title to view it. Alpaca's face showed a mix of complicated emotions. For real? You even faked this just to trick me? I told you this trick won't work on me. CO Jun's image immediately appeared on trending. The first person to beat anonymous Musu. He instantly felt a chill run down his spine. What? They really beat it? Who on earth is this person anyway? Alpaca still hadn't fully recovered his composure. And a message was instantly sent. He opened it with a doubtful look. Oh damn, got tricked real bad. What now? Alpaca's gaze darkened, and he intently stared at Tae-woo's message. Scene cuts to the movie South Korea high-rise building. Steam slowly rose from the coffee cup, and the corners of Paima's mouth curled into a satisfied smirk. He slowly savored it and exclaimed, "Smells absolutely amazing." The door suddenly burst open at that moment. "Boss," Paima immediately questioned him. "Don't you know how to knock?" Yanga replied, "Unquardly." "I'm sorry, boss." Paima frowned with an annoyed look. "What's the big rush anyway?" He urgently spoke up. "That's right, it's all ruined, boss." Jang Ha's face instantly turned pale with anxiety. A ruler was just defeated. Hearing that, he immediately slammed his hand on the desk. And to make it wilder, it was a solo completion. Paima's gaze turned dark. "Which ruler?" His voice dropped heavily. "Drake." He then sighed and exclaimed, "You scared me. I thought it was something serious." "Drake, he's the weakest among them anyway." Paima still maintained a nonchalant look. He was bound to be defeated sooner or later. Jang Ha spoke up with anxiety. But what if players start getting curious about the fragment of order? He decisively waved his hand. "Drop it. You're worrying over nothing. If they gather enough fragments of order, it might affect the current plan." However, his gaze slightly dropped with a heavy expression. "You were the one who designed the protection system and put it into the game right from the start." A fragment carrying insane power appeared. Fragment of Order, January 4th. A hidden item that can be obtained by defeating the ruler of Anton through a special route. The space briefly shook as the attacking power hit directly. The item can only be owned when defeating the ruler by solo completion. However, among them, the checkpoint rulers cannot be defeated without a certain ultimate skill. A notification immediately appeared on the screen. Ultimate skill locked can be obtained through a special path. A helpless sigh echoed. "Just give a rest." What a hassle. The mysterious skill was set up with many traps. That ultimate skill was also designed so that players would have to spend quite a bit of time just to unlock it. At this moment, the screen turned bright red. "You have been playing for over 10 hours. Please take a rest." A barrage of news articles appeared on the front page. In other words, there's currently no reason to worry at all. Jang Ha's face showed a mix of complicated emotions, but he still felt anxious and spoke up hesitant. What if that 1 in a million chance actually happens? On top of that, the person who did it is a streamer who just went live a few minutes ago. Paima frowned in sheer dissatisfaction. "You being too noisy, get back to work." He suddenly froze with a doubtful look. For about 2 seconds, Paima's voice dropped heavily with authority. "How do you know he just finished live streaming? Sounds like you were just watching a live stream during work hours." Yang briefly froze. "That is." His eyes widened with sheer dissatisfaction. "I'm seriously docking your pay this time." He decisively turned around to leave. "Please spare my life, boss." Paima stood up, holding back his anger. "This kid, seriously? We'll deal with this during the next performance review." His mood instantly turned into one of confusion. "They won't actually gather all of them, right?" A doubtful voice slowly rang out. A live stream collaboration. Alpaca still maintained a nonchalant look. "I told you beforehand already." Sua spoke up with confusion. "Is it today, Hyung?" He closely followed the newly updated information. "Are you actually serious about doing this?" He felt like this collab was completely useless for finding new talent anyway. His face mixed with a complex blend of emotions. "Suha, you're misunderstanding something here." Alpaca clenched his fists and declared, he didn't come here as just some regular guest. He jumped up with an excited look on his face. He's a highly sought-after, super grandmaster guest. He jumped up with an excited look on his face. He's a highly sought-after, super grandmaster guest. His voice dropped, dripping with intense, murderous intent. So what if he's good at an assassination game? I only recognize gamers from the pro leagues. Put that away. He allowed a soft sigh and spoke indifferently. Man, this kid is seriously something else. Hey, can you let CO Jun borrow your backup capsule later? Suha immediately furrowed his brows. What? You have a spare capsule yourself, don't you? Alpaca maintained his nonchalant look. I heard his synchronization rate is a bit low, and since you just upgraded to that expensive model, it'll probably work great for him. He flatly refused with a cold expression. Absolutely not. Didn't you just call him a grandmaster? How can a grandmaster have a dirt-low synchronization rate? At least make your BS sound believable. Suha turned around and left decisively. I'm gonna go sit down and monitor the reactions to this collab stream. So call me when he gets here. His gaze dropped slightly as he lamented. This guy is so incredibly picky. Why did he suddenly snap like that? Alpaca suddenly froze in disbelief. Wait a minute. He briefly fell into a calculating train of thought. Doesn't that mean he solo cleared the game under less than ideal conditions? Oh my god. Then how insanely good must his fighting skills be in real life? Is he actually some kind of gangster? If I miss this match, I'll seriously be living under a rock. Why on earth would I do that? Well, by then, Alpaca's face instantly darkened. Damn it. Maybe suggesting this collab was a mistake. He suddenly paused with a look of doubt. A slow voice rang out. It's great to meet you. Alpaca's face turned slightly pale. Wait, what? The corner of CO Jun's mouth hooked up suggestively. My name is Jean CO Jun. He still hadn't fully recovered his senses. He's handsome, with a perfect, naturally good-looking face. He looks way more normal than I imagined. He's even handsomer in real life than his customized character. And here I thought that was just the magic of the character creator. He's already too perfect just with the default appearance. His eyes filled with confusion. What do you mean by character creation? A flood of comments came pouring in. Talk about bait and switch. This is seriously insane, man. This is totally enough precedent to file a lawsuit. Don't you feel bad for the new viewers? Bigger eyes, higher nose bridge, sharper V-line jaw, broader shoulders, more muscular. Alpaca immediately became disgruntled and questioned him. We're still setting things up, and going out there using our real bodies takes so much eyeball-straining character customization effort just to look decent like that. Taewoo excitedly spoke up. Hey bro, long time no see. I'm here too. Come on in, brother. He paused for a moment. Is that you, Taewoo? Long time no see. All right, please come this way. A chorus of voices answered in unison. Excuse us. CO Jun's face showed a mix of complex emotions as he briefly fell into deep thought. Looking from the outside, you'd think this was just a regular house. CO Jun carefully observed the layout of the house, but it felt like the man had completely separated his workspace from his living space. So this is what a veteran streamer studio looks like. Alpaca spoke casually. I'm gonna go make some coffee. Everyone, please make yourselves at home and wait a moment. He excitedly replied, let me give you a hand. Taewoo whispered with a puzzled look in his eyes. Bro, where did you get the confidence to agree to that bet? A good man. He furrowed his brows in annoyance. If you just came in here to troll me, then get the hell out. CO Jun paused for a moment with a calm demeanor. Suho walked into the room, taking them by surprise. Hello. His voice dropped to a heavy tone. I'm Lisa, Alpaca's manager and editor. He maintained his nonchalant look. Hello, I'm streamer Dean CO Jun. A handshake was exchanged immediately. CO Jun's eyes filled with complex emotions. What's this? Try to intimidate me right off the bat. Suha spoke in a highly sarcastic tone. You seem to be extremely good at gaming, huh? He replied decisively. I guess so. You seem to be extremely good at gaming, huh? He replied decisively. I guess so. The corner of CO Jun's mouth hooked up meaningfully. Actually, it's a secret. He stopped dead in his tracks. What kind of trick is he trying to pull now? No way. That jerk Lisa, he clearly declared. I played in the Pro League for a short time about 3 years ago. Alpaca's eyes widened in shock. 3 years ago, he instantly became flustered and asked haltingly, the Pro League? Were you that good back then too? What rank were you? Soo-young replied flatly, silver rank. Suha's eyes remained skeptical. I don't think that's true. There's no way someone who quit gaming for so many years could suddenly be this good out of nowhere. He slightly raised an eyebrow. Well, Who's to say something like that can't happen? He immediately declared outright in a challenging manner. Then how about a 1v1 match with me in the practice room to see how it goes? Seo Yun post. Like right now, Alpaca spoke slowly. Why do you suddenly want to solo against Seo Jun? Suha's voice carried a provocative edge. Why else? I just want to test his skills. He narrowed his eyes and questioned. Well, he kept his calm composure. Suddenly his attitude got super cocky. I'm only saying this for your own good, bro. Seo Jun's expression turned puzzled. Why are you suddenly speaking so politely all of a sudden? Taewoo's face instantly grew serious. I honestly advise you not to be foolish enough to solo this guy. His gaze still carried a stubborn refusal to back down. Why do you think I'm a goner? He maintained his nonchalant demeanor. This isn't even a matter of winning or losing. That's because his face turned grim. Taewoo clearly declared. His face turned grim. Taewoo clearly declared. His voice dropped, carrying a powerful authority. If you want to fight in the practice room, you might as well go challenge a master-tier dungeon instead. That would make way more sense. He paused for a moment in disbelief. What? Then don't tell me. Sua's eyes were filled with confusion. Is this guy actually anonymous? The play button was shown on the video screen. The first scene that appeared was Seo Jun clashing swords with Shin Ha-yeon. The two blades collided, creating electric sparks and a rather piercing sound. Finally, as if it couldn't take it anymore, her sword was completely shattered by him. Watching up to this point, both Alpaca and Suha showed expressions of pure shock. This is seriously insane. The video continued to play while he held his head in panic and said, "He actually pulled that off? But that's Shin Ha-yeon." Only when the video was about to end did it offer a proper critique. The match was a total one-sided beatdown. Aside from the few hits he intentionally took, he didn't get touched at all. Seo Jun's voice rang out. If you diligently practice for about another 80 years, you might stand a chance. It left both of them completely jaw-dropped. Alpaca jumped up and blurted out, "This guy's arrogance is seriously off the charts. Wait, why am I suddenly feeling so much pressure about this collab stream?" Seeing his attitude, Taewoo was extremely satisfied and showed a smug expression. See that? This is Jin Seo Jun. This left him with no choice but to show a helpless face and think to himself, why the hell are you the one acting all high and mighty? After watching the video, Suha fell into an unusual silence. While the other two were chatting with each other, he called out to Seo Jun. He turned his head and replied obediently, "Yes?" Before anyone realized it, Suha was already standing right in front of Seo Jun. He looked as if he was about to throw a punch at the guy. From that moment on, the other two were no longer in the mood to joke around and quickly stepped in to stop him. "Hey Lisa, bro, wait a second." Out of nowhere, the guy bowed his head deeply and yelled, "I'll revere you as my big boss from now on." Taewoo was startled out of his wits and climbed onto Alpaca. The one who was quite calm laughed and said, What the hell? I worried for nothing." As for Seo Jun, his face went completely blank. Suha still enthusiastically pointed at himself and declared, "Anyone who's cracked at gaming is a big boss to me. From now on, please speak casually with me, boss." On the outside, he agreed blankly, but on the inside, he rolled his eyes hard. Being respected is fine and all, but strictly speaking about age, you shouldn't be calling me big boss. You should be calling me your ancient ancestor. If I count my past life too, how old am I exactly? Taewoo had calmed down and was laughing teasingly. "Since this is no big deal anyway, let's just drop it. Bro, look at his blank face." As soon as he finished speaking, he got smacked on the head with a tissue box. While Alpaca was pondering a strange issue, and more importantly, what the deal with 3 years ago was, the other two started messing around with each other. "If you think you're tough, come on and fight right now." His eyes focused on Seo Jun. There's no way Seo Jun has been playing for that long, right? The oblivious opponent was annoyingly telling the person getting up in his face, "Looking at your face makes me so incredibly irritated." "What did you say?" Seeing Alpaca so quiet, Suha lightly nudged him with his elbow. "Hey, what are you two doing?" Seeing Alpaca so quiet, Suha lightly nudged him with his elbow. "Hey, what are you two doing?" He finally snapped out of it. "All right, is it already time?" Recalling what he was thinking about just now, Alpaca silently brushed it aside. "No, I'm probably just overthinking." Then he called out calmly, "Seo Jun, shall we get going then?" Just as he was about to throw the tissue box at Taewoo again, he turned around and replied, Yes. He gave directions. First, let's head over to my gaming capsule. But he was cut off by an incredibly excited Suha. Please come this way, boss. Though a bit bewildered by the guy's deep reverence, CO Jun didn't refuse. Thanks. Hearing this, he said blissfully, "Oh, truly a god." Completely ignoring Alpaca, who had a bright red handprint on his face, he flipped his attitude as fast as a pancake. A notification popped up. Alpaca has started streaming live. Countless comments flooded in, showing everyone's excitement. A notification popped up. Alpaca has started streaming live. Countless comments flooded in, showing everyone's excitement. The screen showed Alpaca's cheerful face. Before getting to the main objective, he asked a question to lead the audience in. Great to see everyone again. I'm sure you all know what today is, right? The chat's reaction wasn't very enthusiastic, as if we came here not knowing. Get Alpaca's face out of the way, please. Reading these lines made Alpaca mutter under his breath. What the hell? This is my stream. Is no one here to see me? The chat funnily continued to tease him. Exactly. Yep, got a problem with that. While he was sniffing dramatically, a friendly comment appeared. Wait, no. I came here to see Alpaca. This cheered Alpaca up instantly as he shouted, "Oh look, orange fish whale donor. Did you really come see me?" But that person's actual goal was just to watch the endless grinding stream. His mood had been constantly fluctuating since a moment ago. There's no exhausting grinding today, okay? I'm banning you to an isolated island, kid. The viewers all funnily spammed, huh? But someone noticed something else and asked, wait, why no grinding today? Alpaca looked quite pleased with this question. Why am I not grinding today? Good question. Then he drew out his words. Because today is... Someone even commented a bunch of heartbeat sound effects to build up suspense. Thump, 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 thump. Finally, he gave the answer with eyes burning with absolute determination. Movie is the game we're gonna rock today. Someone funnily commented, this bro is getting way too hyped up. Then he pointed toward a rather large wooden crate and introduced, right now, let me introduce the professor who will teach me the secret of Muzu style today. Seeing the wooden crate suddenly crack open with a flash of golden light, the chat section became rowdy again. Did this old guy manage to scout some Grandmaster by surprise? What kind of spawn effect is that? After the wooden planks fell away, Alpaca's excited voice rang out. Please welcome streamer Jin Co Jun. Make your appearance. But to his utter surprise, the inside was completely empty, leaving him totally dazed. The chat asked in confusion, what is this? Why hasn't he spawned yet? They teased him once again. A collab via phone call? Alright, stop daydreaming, Alpaca. But now Alpaca was focused on something else. Did something happen? Why isn't he there? The viewers made random guesses in the comments. That Grandmaster is actually just Alpaca's imaginary friend. Jin Co Jun. Yes, but the collab is tomorrow, bro. Alpaca. Oh my god, Jin Co Jun. I didn't show up because you haven't paid me enough money. Alpaca, driven crazy by them, snapped back. It's not a phone collab, guys. But no one believed him. Stop lying, man. Looks like it's time to turn on the overnight grinding mode again. Let's go, boys. Seeing this, Alpaca had to pull out his trump card. Look at this, it's written very clearly on the system board. We even plan to go rank up online together after this. Suddenly, a new notification appeared on the screen. A message from Jin Co Jun. He opened it to read the message. Alpaca, I'm Jin Co Jun. The next two messages came from Co Jun. I don't know how to get into your waiting room. Alpaca, can you send me an invite? He. The viewers all stared wide-eyed at the screen. The chat erupted in noise once again. Typing hee sounds so troll. Is this scripted or real? Meanwhile, Alpaca forced a laugh and sent over the info for room 1000, though he was panicking like crazy on the inside. That's exactly what I want to ask. Is this guy being serious? Doing a bit of acting to spice up the stream? After a brief intro, Co Jun appeared with a bright smile. Hello everyone. I'm sorry for being late. Im streamer Jin Co Jun. The latecomer had finally shown his face. The two sat on a straw mat. Alpaca waved his hand dismissively. It happens all the time. After all, technically speaking, you're still a total newbie. Hearing that, the viewers fired comments straight into his heart. A total newbie, sure, but not being able to find the waiting room is a bit much. It's old man Alpaca's fault for not preparing in advance. And yet this old guy is claiming he wants to learn the ways of the master from that very newbie. While the other guy was reading the comments, he secretly checked the screen. The viewer pool was no joke. It was about to hit the 20,000 viewer mark. But then he thought helplessly, why does it feel like toxic yet playful comments appeared? Drop your real life and get back to grinding in-game. Isn't your life basically just a game anyway? Back to your true self. Losing even to a beginner? It's because I've been busy living a real life lately. The comments in this room seem a bit curious. Looking at Alpaca's gloomy expression, CO June silently made a guess. It felt like turning the streamer into a laughingstock had become its own type of content, and the chat environment of each room would differ depending on the streamer's personality. There were some streamers who literally liked to verbally abuse their viewers. Any other punks want to act up? I'm sorry, Big Boss. Don't let it happen again next time. Orders received, Big Boss. You're too great, Big Boss. A one-day chat ban. What a wonderful day. Meanwhile, some other streamers aimed for a completely wholesome, civilized broadcast. But honestly, I quite like this free-spirited atmosphere. Even though he liked it, the comments were getting a bit too troll. You play so trash, just quit the game already. Look at that skill level. What now? This left an old man like him helplessly praying, please show some respect to your elders. I probably won't get crucified for my skill level, right? After messing around for a while, Alpaca clapped his hands together with a loud smack. Now, down to business. As everyone knows, thanks to CO June taking down that Drake, I ended up having to shoulder this endless grinding stream challenge. Just as things got serious, the chat bit back. An account named Who's High generously donated 1,001. If anyone successfully pulls that off, I'll revere them as my master, accept their teachings, and stream grinding nonstop until I beat the Drake on Musa mode. Man, the chat is hurting my feelings. This made him grit his teeth, grumble softly, and threaten them. I will literally blacklist you. Did you hear me? I need to slap that big mouth shut to make them quiet down. But they weren't scared at all. Is Alpaca getting triggered by the roast? He couldn't hold it in anymore. CO June turned his face away and covered his mouth with his hand. Even though he tried to hide it, it didn't escape Alpaca's eyes. Hey, you shouldn't be standing there laughing, CO June. If you hadn't taken down that Drake, I wouldn't have had to do this exhausting grinding stream challenge. You're paying the price for the hype you caused yourself. He chuckled and replied, that's true. I do feel a little bit responsible toward you, Alpaca. Hearing that, he said with satisfaction, right? But CO June's next words made the man unable to laugh anymore. It's my fault for just going ahead and killing it without realizing someone out there had confidently declared that it was absolutely impossible to defeat the Drake on Musa mode on the second day of the game's release. Alpaca cried rivers on the inside. Hey, if you put it that way, where am I supposed to hide my face? What am I supposed to do now? The viewers also seized this chance to jump in and tease him. The roasting session part 2 has begun. Translation, sorry, but that's entirely your fault. Alpaca is so incredibly stupid. He stared intently at CO June, who was smiling cheerfully and interacting with the chat. He's unexpectedly sweet. Looking at his opponent's relaxed demeanor, Alpaca thought to himself, with this many viewers, he doesn't seem nervous at all. On the contrary, it looks like he's actually quite enjoying it. I can relax and keep going with the live stream now. After finishing his thoughts, he made a cute face and said, yes, I know it's my fault. So please save me from my past mistakes, Master. CO June nodded modestly in agreement. I will do my best. Hearing that, Alpaca happily held up 2 fingers and started listing out today's stream missions. Now let's get to it. There will be a total of 2 content parts that I will be doing with CO June today. The first part is jumping into the game with CO June to receive his guidance. The next content part is still a secret, until the day this Musu grinding stream challenge succeeds. Before we start the match, let me ask you something. CO June, which basic skills have you upgraded so far? He gasped slightly in surprise. Skills. Then he reported honestly, I actually haven't upgraded any of them yet. This left him completely shocked as he asked in all seriousness, who on earth grinds a game with bare hands these days without upgrading a single skill? You haven't used a single skill this whole time. What about the basic passives that increase attack speed, movement speed, or boost damage? What about the basic passives that increase attack speed, movement speed, or boost damage? CO June thought about it for a moment, then indifferently scratched his face and replied, "I've never touched those things before. Are you required to use them?" Seo Jun thought about it for a moment, then indifferently scratched his face and replied, "I've never touched those things before. Are you required to use them?" The livestream screen showed Alpaca's jaw completely drop. That ugly face he makes whenever he panics. It took him a moment to find his voice again. What? Seo Jun thought about the fact that telling the truth, that he didn't use skills because he didn't even know how to use them, would sound a bit pathetic, right? So he flashed a confident smile and replied, "I just didn't see much of a need to use them." The chat room was completely blown away by his sheer coolness, not forgetting to turn around and mock Alpaca. Seriously insane. You should try mimicking that style. If an alpaca straight out of a potato guarding lab dares to talk trash about beating someone barehanded, it should at least be able to do this much. Meanwhile, he was forcing a laugh, completely at a loss for words. Why did it feel like? Ever since Seo Jun showed up, everything was working against him? The viewer count is going up. Let's try to hold out a bit longer. For the sake of the goal, Alpaca had to try his best to smile brightly and just say, the second part of the content I'll be doing with Seo Jun actually has to do with that skill. He played a video and asked, "Has everyone here seen this kind of video before?" He played a video and asked, "Has everyone here seen this kind of video before?" The other person's remaining sword gradually cracked and finally, unable to take it anymore, it shattered completely. The system prompt appeared, weakness detected, skill unlocked, quest requirement. Destroy 10 weapons by finding their flaw lines. February 10th. The system prompt appeared, weakness detected, skill unlocked, quest requirement. Destroy 10 weapons by finding their flaw lines. February 10th. Alpaca continued to explain, "Guys, everyone probably knows the concept of flaw lines that often pops up in fantasy novels, right? It's like a fatal path that allows you to easily split an object in half. I just need to find 10 lines like that for the weakness locating skill to unlock." Right at that moment, someone asked, "So what?" 2 fingers were held out in front. As of right now, I found a total of 2 flaw lines. One was the rapier that accidentally broke in the video we just watched. The other is the weak point of a broadsword that I learned about through a side quest NPC. Then his eyes flashed. But I heard Seo Jun say that he thinks. With sparkling eyes, Alpaca shifted his attention to the guy who had been quiet this whole time. He can actually figure out the pattern behind those flaw lines. With sparkling eyes, Alpaca shifted his attention to the guy who had been quiet this whole time. He can actually figure out the pattern behind those flaw lines. How the hell could anyone know something like that? Is this rookie a gaming god or what? Faced with this reaction from them, he didn't get angry at all and simply advised, "Whoa, everyone calm down a bit." Then he excitedly made a tempting offer. "Actually, scratch that. I bet we should make a wager on whether he can find that pattern before today's stream ends." The livestream platform has a channel point system where points automatically increase just by watching the stream. Alpaca, please play a horror game. And those points can be used to redeem chat effects or make bizarre requests to the streamer. These points cannot be converted into cash. However, there's another real reason why viewers are extremely crazy about these points, and that is the channel points prediction, where viewers use their points to bet on the outcome of the stream. The channel points prediction had begun. A large screen appeared behind Alpaca's back. "All right, I've given everyone plenty of time to lock in their choices. Take your time betting. Channel points prediction. Will he manage to find 1 or 2 flaw lines out of pure luck during today's stream? No. Will he find 3 or 4 lines? What kind of nonsense is this? Will he fail miserably just like everyone else?" The commenter said that he obviously wouldn't be able to find any, so they should just choose the safe bet to be sure. Someone commented angrily, "What the hell are those people betting on the underdog thinking?" After reading it, Seo Jun asked curiously, "What are the safe bet and the underdog bet?" He answered the question, "The safe bet is the more likely outcome, but even if you win, the payout rate is dirt low, while the underdog bet is for options with a low chance of winning, but once you hit it, you win big." On the channel points prediction board, everyone's predictions were displayed. Will he manage to find 1 or 2 flaw lines out of pure luck during today's stream? No. Will he find 3 or 4 lines? What kind of nonsense is this? Will he fail miserably just like everyone else? No way. He's an alien with a third eye that can see right through the flaw lines. from 4 lines or more. A moment later, he finally understood clearly and asked with dead fish eyes. So that means betting on me finding 4 lines or more is called going with the underdog bet? The other guy answered a bit awkwardly. As of right now, yeah, that's correct. CO June spoke into the screen. Everyone, if you go all in on the 4 lines or more option, the payout rate is 100 times your bet. Everyone didn't really believe this. Trust me, where on earth did you get that overconfidence from? I don't know how you can be so sure about it. Someone even donated more money. The account Josian Assassin donated 10,000 won. I trusted CO June and went all in with all the points I've accumulated over the past 3 years on the 4 lines or more option. Am I completely crazy? Truly a total newbie. Seeing the donated money, he just calmly declared, congratulations in advance. You're about to win a massive payout 100 times your bet. Finally, Assassination Dawn began. An ancient castle appeared in the middle of the night under a full moon. Blood splattered onto the ground, and a large gash was left on Lewis's face. The person who caused this was flashing a barbaric smile. Holding a sharp sword in his hand, his whole body trembled as he begged, "Big boss, I was wrong, please spare my life." But he took another sword slash to the face. Perhaps because of the bloodstains, the atmosphere and even the moonlight seemed stained in red. Lewis threatened, "Try running away. If you can escape, I'll let you live." Hearing this, despite being in pain all over his body, Lewis still tried to crawl away to hide. That was Lewis Neville. Someone saw this scene and added an introduction. He is the son of Richard Neville, the ruler of the far northeast region. No wonder CO June found him familiar. That was exactly the kid he saw in the video earlier. Alpaca raised his eyebrows and suggested, "First of all, we should test his skills, right?" A sword appeared out of thin air, a normal sword. Its craftsmanship was nothing spectacular, but it didn't have any flaws either. The supplier was Alpaca. After receiving the item, he immediately jumped down to the ground, leaving the other guy chatting with everyone. Now listen up, everyone. Even if you know where to strike to break it, actually pulling that off is no easy task. Just reenacting that video alone is way harder than parrying. According to me, suddenly a miserable scream rang out, making Alpaca snap his eyes open in surprise. The owner of this scream was none other than Lewis, who was being slashed by CO June from his chest down to his stomach, his whole body slamming hard onto the ground. In just a few seconds, he had completely defeated the target. Weakness detected, skill unlocked, quest requirement: destroy 10 weapons by finding their flaw lines. January 10th. Everyone went wild at this sight. Huh, didn't you just say this was super hard earlier? A master is truly a master. He's just built different. Are the safe bettors starting to get their points? Wiped out already. Alpaca approached, praising him excitedly. Just as expected, you nailed it on the very first try. Obviously, your level is on a completely different planet compared to us. In his heart, he added, "I had to fail over and over again just to get lucky once." He smiled and reminded him, "But you also know that this method hasn't been clearly proven yet, right?" The opponent spoke calmly. "Well, that was true, but now it's certain." Hearing that, Alpaca asked in confusion, "What's certain?" The corner of CO June's mouth curved up into a smile. "That the pattern I thought of is completely accurate." The corner of CO June's mouth curved up into a smile. "That the pattern I thought of is completely accurate." Hey everyone, please don't say such bitter words to CO June. Suddenly, cavalrymen appeared and shouted loudly, "There's an intruder." The intruder had appeared, but facing such danger, he just smiled and said, "All right, seeing is believing, so I'll demonstrate it for everyone right here and now." CO June's eyes darkened and became razor sharp, a weakness that could be completely destroyed. The kind of thing people say only Shalaheim monks who reach the state of clairvoyance in their past lives could see. Although my martial arts back then were extremely powerful, I wasn't a monk, so I couldn't see it. But even so, I could still pull off a similar trick. Images from his past life continuously flashed by. Just like back then, I only need to grasp the opponent's intention, and that's it. The intention of its creator. All I need to do is catch them off guard. While he was closing his eyes to reminisce and refocus, the chat section was still completely clueless. Why on earth did you close your eyes like that? Wait, so he's just throwing in the towel and giving up? Because his vision wasn't being used, CO June's remaining senses were extremely sharp, making it very easy to block the cavalryman's shield. The cavalryman couldn't help but be startled as he realized something. The sword slashed diagonally across, and everything suddenly became dead silent. Alpaca watched blankly from behind, when suddenly a fracture line appeared. His next sword swing literally caused the cavalryman to completely shatter. Rubble fragments flew right past his wide-open, shocked face. Alpaca was so excited that his face turned bright red. He's seriously insane. Alpaca was so excited that his face turned bright red. He's seriously insane. Alpaca clutched his head and blurted out repeatedly. He just found it, and he did it while his eyes were tightly shut. What the hell is this? Is he actually a monster? Everyone quickly joined in the hype. I swear, I'm being dead serious. What on earth is he seeing anyway? This is literally genius-level stuff. He couldn't contain his excitement and ran toward the opponent, asking, "No way, CO Jun, how the hell did you manage to do that?" Suddenly, a ting-ting chime rang out, catching both of their attention. Although money was donated, that person's words were extremely harsh. The account, "Oh please, it's all staged," donated 1,001. Didn't you two sit down and write a script for this together since yesterday? Looking at this blatantly staged crap makes me sick. That single comment drove Alpaca crazy, and he immediately started arguing back on stream. Staged? No freaking way. Just a moment ago, he thought CO Jun was just talking big. Who knew he was this cracked? As the comments started going wild over the recent event. The safe bettors are coping so hard right now. Fake streamer. Apologize. Scam, scam, scam. Streamer. That was my tuition money. Have some mercy, will you? Is this actually real? The truth hurts so bad. Real life is wilder than fiction. Trolling like it's real. I told you we had to trust Lord Anonymous. Boycott the fake streamer. CO Jun leisurely added another emotional wound to them. I told you to trust me and place your bets. This made one person unable to take it anymore and cry out loud. It's too late, man. Suddenly, he remembered something and flashed a smirk. But wait, it's strange. It's not like only the safe bettors are about to get ruined, right? CO Jun slowly recalled the prediction board that Alpaca introduced earlier. On today's livestream, he'll get lucky and find 1 or 2 flaws. No, maybe he'll even find 3 or 4. Lord Anonymous will end up empty-handed, just like everyone else. Then he softly dropped the line. No bait, no gain. Only 1% of you guessed that I would find 4 or more. Are all of you chatting here part of that 1%? Hearing that, the audience immediately showed all kinds of different emotions. We're doomed. Yep, that's exactly right. Are all of you chatting here part of that 1%? This made CO Jun unable to stop himself from laughing out loud. You guys look like you're completely fine as long as you're not the only one failing. The general mindset of Koreans is Alpaca silently sighed in his heart. This kid teased the audience while still leading the match flow so smoothly that they didn't hate him. Not only is he good at gaming, but he also has a natural charm for streaming. That means I won't have to struggle to carry the live stream all by myself anymore. Just thinking of that, Alpaca happily waved his hand to interact with CO Jun's audience. Come on, everyone calm down a bit. CO Jun, how did you pull off something so cool? Give us a hint, bro. The audience, hearing this, also became so anxious that they started a ruckus. I'm so curious. I don't know how he trained to get to that level. What the hell does he do in real life? I'm so curious about this guy's actual job. CO Jun said bluntly without even thinking about it. Well, first of all, I'm just a normal young guy in real life. That sincere way of speaking completely shocked Alpaca out of his mind. Just a split second later, he jumped up noisily. Stop playing the humble card. Which part of you is normal? Alpaca recalled the moment he introduced himself before entering the game. My name is Gene CO Jun. He then roared angrily. A face like that cannot be called normal. Stop lying. That somewhat over-the-top reaction naturally left the viewers completely baffled. Is CO Jun that handsome? As soon as this comment caught the eyes of the two streamers, Alpaca quickly lowered his voice and started acting crazy. Guys, CO Jun's appearance on stream is exactly how his bare face looks in real life. Absolutely no filters or editing at all. A few seconds after those words, a flood of comments rapidly scrolled across the screen. No way. Aren't the developers going to release a balance patch for this? Wow, Being both handsome and cracked at the game is just way too overpowered, guys. Suddenly, the system shot off fireworks to display a comment clearly before everyone's eyes. Donation from the Tiz in the amount of 10,000 won. There must be something small about him. I swear, the way that viewer donated money just to flex their deep thoughts made Alpaca stand frozen in thought for a few seconds before his brain kicked in and he gritted his teeth. I get it all too well. Alpaca's look of being about to give someone a beatdown made the viewers incredibly excited. Oh, is he about to get banned? He's definitely catching a ban hammer. And yet, the system continued to notify. Donation from the Tiz in the amount of 10,000 won. Pondering, Alpaca, who wasn't happy at all, gritted his teeth and hissed, "Are you trying to troll me? Co Jun, do you want me to just ban him right now?" Co Jun, who was silently watching the drama unfold, had to hold back the guy who was gesturing wildly at the screen. Come on, it's fine. Because that comment didn't affect him at all. Getting that approval, Alpaca looked at the comment screen and hissed a threat through his teeth. I'll let it slide this time. Suddenly, a surprising comment popped up. The admin just walked past with a knife. Turns out while Alpaca was busy being shocked in-game, so was calmly dealing with the Tiz right in the chat box. Do you know the name of this knife? Behave yourself a little bit. Okay. A hilarious scene that made the commentators incredibly happy. Look at his instant panic-buying reflex. Only now did Co Jun clear his throat to make a suggestion. All right, let's get back to it. Alpaca also took that chance to clap his hands once, then turned around to open his mouth and talk to him. Co Jun, how the hell did you do that anyway? When he gently shared his thoughts. Honestly, I didn't see any flaws at all. He tilted his head to the side in a daze. How can that be? Under the curious gazes of the audience, Co Jun quickly coughed, once due to feeling too much pressure. Only then did he put on his expressionless face to appear mysterious. I just knew it naturally, because I'm a genius. A simple sentence that not only made Alpaca's ears itch like crazy, but also made almost all the viewers and the admin watching the live stream freeze in their tracks. What on earth is the secret? Only after a few minutes had passed did the commentators snap out of it and laugh at Alpaca's dumbfounded face. So annoying. Look at Alpaca's face. Seeing those laughs directed straight at his face, he tremblingly spoke up. Please don't be like that. Have some mercy and teach us. Who knew that guy Co Jun wouldn't even notice the others suffering and just gently shared. Teach. I just tried putting myself in the devs' shoes to see what they would do. The simple piece of information sent a jolt right through Alpaca. You mean you can read the devs' minds just by looking at two examples? The simple piece of information sent a jolt right through Alpaca. You mean you can read the devs' minds just by looking at two examples? Striking a flaw line is much harder than that. But even if successful, it only breaks the weapon without dealing extra damage. In short, there's no need to use the flaw system when fighting regular mobs. What was the way to jump higher more easily again? Co Jun's main point was still to look at the big picture and choose the best option to rank up, thanks to which he received a sincere compliment from the commentator. Oh, sharp eye. Co Jun didn't see that comment and continued his speech. Then there's only one answer. The flaw system is meant for boss fights. The highly logical explanation got Alpaca excited. He muttered, "Makes sense. The bosses are clearly way tougher to defeat just by parrying, especially Drake, who seems to want everyone to look at him like a profound madman." Co Jun suddenly made an announcement. Speaking of which, I'm going to go eliminate the possessor right now. This caused a huge stir among the audience. No. The underdogs are suddenly crying out loud. All our points are going to get wiped out completely at this rate. Please, go find something else safe first and deal with the possessor later. Demon Co Jun looked at those who needed a wail and smiled cheerfully, then turned around to speak to the blonde guy opposite him. Alpaca, let's do another point prediction wager. When he showed his skepticism, say what? He leisurely voiced the thought in his mind. Will I be able to destroy the possessor's equipment today? Then he conveniently opened the system to update the situation. The channel point bet wager was leading the predictions. Channel point prediction. Jean Co Jun will destroy the possessor's equipment today. After setting everything up, Co Jun gently said to the audience, "You know the rules, right? Just trust me and follow along." A moment later, some ancient building was taking a series of horrifying attacks. Waiting for the bright smoke to clear, two tall figures unexpectedly appeared in a bizarre manner. Drake roared furiously to let his voice echo through the air. I will take your head to avenge my son. His eyes were filled with infinite hatred as he stared at the remaining breathing opponent opposite him. Right as Drake lunged at his opponent at full speed, Seo Jun gently leaned his body to dodge his slash gracefully. Seizing the moment before the opponent could recover, he swung his sword and struck hard against Drake's massive blade. But he just looked up at his own sword and muttered, "What kind of trick are you using already?" As soon as he finished his sentence, Drake swung his sword to attack Seo Jun, making Alpaca, who was observing from the outside, break into a cold sweat. I didn't find any flaws this time either. It's been a while, hasn't it? Is it possible that there really are none to be found? According to the audience's discussion, before that thought could even fully form, Seo Jun's sarcastic voice cut through it all. You just thought I couldn't find it, didn't you? I didn't find any flaws this time either. It's been a while, hasn't it? Is it possible that there really are none to be found? That exact hilarious demeanor made the audience show all kinds of emotions. Caught red-handed, you can tell he's doomed. Damn it. Looks like we lost everything this time. Lord Anonymous, watch your step out there. As soon as Alpaca felt a chill down his spine, he had to yell out immediately. Guys, they say Drake's weapon is made of a special material. Maybe it doesn't even have any flaws at all. Right after getting into his stance, Seo Jun muttered coldly, "Oh, really?" He silently searched for fatal weaknesses on Drake's body and gently spoke up. "It's not much different from the Grim Reaper's armor. Let me check if it truly doesn't have any then." Right when Drake swung his sword overhead to finish off his opponent, Seo Jun calmly rushed in and drew his sword to make a line right through the middle of his massive blade. That sight caused Drake to roar in anger. "How many more times are you going to use that trick? That trick doesn't work on me." Unexpectedly, Seo Jun not only ignored his opponent's words, but also thrust his sword heavily into the base of the blade in Drake's hand, then quickly drew a slashing line, dragging from that spot straight up to his shoulder. That sight instantly shocked Alpaca out of his mind. A hit, and that's not all. That sight instantly shocked Alpaca out of his mind. A hit, and that's not all. Waiting until the sword made contact all the way down to his thigh, he then rushed off to another spot. With just those few simple actions, the system quickly displayed a report. Quest to receive weakness locating skill, unlock condition. Destroy weapons 10 times using the flaw technique. April 10th. A series of notifications followed one after another. May 10th, June 10th, July 10th, August 10th, September 10th. Just as the system counted to that part, Seo Jun heard the sound of Drake's armor shattering. While Alpaca and the viewers were still in shock over Seo Jun's insane aura farming play. What on earth is this? He silently listened to the sound of Drake spitting blood, because that was also the moment the system voiced the final decision. October 10th. Weakness locating skill acquired. Confirmed. Under the puzzled gazes of the observers, Seo Jun just gently showed his calm face as he spoke up. My mistake. The sword indeed has no weaknesses, but his body sure does. Not knowing how much time had passed, the real-life VR capsule slowly opened up. As soon as Seo Jun woke up, he sat straight up and let out a long sigh. But before he could even finish his breath, the second thing was Suha bowing deeply in a formal manner. Big boss, you are so insanely cracked. The loud noise made Seo Jun a bit embarrassed. Still here? He really hasn't left yet. He quickly stepped out, scratched his head, and spoke up. Thanks for letting me borrow your capsule. Suha maintained his posture and replied seriously. Don't mention it. I'm the one who should be thanking you, boss. But a second later, he threw himself into a hug around his capsule and fawned over it. My capsule must have learned a lot from this experience. That action not only gave Seo Jun a headache and goosebumps, but even the capsule itself, if it had a soul, would say, I'm getting goosebumps here too. A while later, seeing that it was starting to get dark outside, Seo Jun decided to walk out into the living room. Oh, what's this? You haven't left yet. Taewoo leisurely ate a chocolate cookie before excitedly joining the conversation. I turned off the stream already. There's no way I'd miss out on this collab. You're the one who needs to beat it quickly. Hearing that out of nowhere made Seo Jun raise an eyebrow in confusion. Beat it to where exactly? Then, just a split second later, he forgot about his friend's teasing and changed the subject. All right. At the same time, Alpaca's chat room started going wild. Alpaca, get out of our sight. Get lost. We don't welcome these boring faces. Get lost, get lost. Bring CEO June out here right now. Who needs you anyway? Look at that. Drop that ugly face of yours, please. I didn't come in here to watch you. Go play somewhere else. The somewhat hostile reaction from the audience made him quickly show his face. Hey now, everyone please calm down first. I never imagined someone would be so rude as to tape an alpaca's mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut, alpaca. But when the light from his phone turned on, a surge of confidence bubbled up, allowing him to quickly regain his composure in front of his restless audience. All right, it looks like he's ready. Let's give a warm welcome to Jean CEO June. The door to Alpaca's room creaked open slowly, casting a heavenly glow into the gloomy space inside. Everyone, except for the pretentious alpaca, began to lose their minds over CEO June's otherworldly beauty. Hi everyone, this is my first time meeting you all in person. The man possessed truly flawless, immaculate looks, a perfect face that needed no filters. He gently flashed a bright, sunny smile and greeted everyone politely. I'm Jean CEO June, a travel streamer. A moment later, Alpaca pulled him to sit beside him and started happily showing him off. Well, what do you think, everyone? CEO June is genuinely handsome, isn't he? The audience, having just been bombarded by CEO June's supernatural good looks, immediately started roasting Alpaca. Why is he this handsome in real life? This is so unfair to Alpaca. That's just life, I guess. Even if you shave down your eyes, nose, and jaw, Alpaca would still look like trash. Cut it out, he's deeply wounded. He quickly tried to retort in vain. Hey, I look pretty decent in real life, okay? I've just gained a bit of weight lately. The commenters didn't hold back with their sharp tongues, making even CEO June gulp in nervousness. You call that just a bit of weight? Are you sure that's really all it is? Why did this guy bring up a topic he was guaranteed to lose? It's fine. We're not watching your stream for your face anyway. Hearing that, Alpaca knew he had completely lost this battle and could only respond weakly. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go prepare some things. A comment quickly flashed on the screen. Alpaca is running away. CEO June had to think fast to keep the engagement going. He's just going to make dinner. Our next activity is going out for a group meal. Before he could even lean back to rest, the system suddenly blared out. Appa donated 50,000 won. It even came with a message that was both cheesy and sincere. Appa, I love you. It made CEO June awkwardly sit up and scratch his head. Thank you. But are you a girl? He hadn't even received an answer before a flood of comments from female fans poured in. Stop it. Appa, my foot. Appa. Just then, the system fired off fireworks again. Me Too donated 50,000 won. It made CEO June frown in suspicion. However, this person asked a very earnest question. I want to learn the skill of finding an opponent's weak point. Can you do a few more examples of movement? The other viewers quickly moved on from the old topic to chime in. Seriously, that was insane just now. Thanks to that, CEO June had a chance to lean back and think about how to explain it before replying. He started rewinding time to recall the moment. He went still while fighting the Drake. CEO June gently spoke up with confidence. Weak point detection is a skill that strikes at the weak point, allowing you to destroy equipment by slashing along the marked lines. The one-of-a-kind lecture left the audience completely helpless. How did he break the Drake's shoulder armor while fighting? Hitting the weak points of regular NPCs is hard enough, let alone a predator. CEO June waited for the audience's excitement to heat up before immediately dousing them with cold water. No way I'm revealing that for free. Stay tuned for next time. If you want to see more examples, come watch my stream tomorrow. As the viewers started laughing in the chat, he's already plugging his channel. I am speechless. He kept steering the conversation in a different direction. All right, next question. Feel free to ask anything on the topic. And as soon as he turned it on, someone asked immediately, what exactly is the Shard of Order? CEO June read the question and answered without a moment's thought. What? Even I'm not really sure about that yet. Just like that, he continued the process of reading questions and answering with sincerity. What kind of exercise do you usually do? I mostly just go jogging. Why are they so curious about this? Why did you choose the assassin game genre for your first live stream? It was recommended to me by a friend. Hearing that, the audience erupted, eager to dig for more information. Oh, sounds like a good friend. Who is it? A moment later, the table of grilled meat was quickly live-streamed for everyone to see. Taewoo, hearing CEO June's Q&A, immediately winked at the phone. It was me. The audience, having learned the truth, started digging for more news. So that's why he didn't go live today. This guy is such a great friend. He should have invited him to live stream earlier. But how are you two close? Taewoo happily threw his arm around his friend and spoke straight. We've been friends since high school, and we're even living together now. The cheerful atmosphere quickly vanished when Taewoo's regular viewers appeared. Wait, so Seo Jun is that roommate? The legendary guy. As soon as that comment appeared, Taewoo, feeling the prying eyes of the three people eating with him, tremblingly hit his phone. What are you talking about? As if to add fuel to the fire, Noe donated 1,001 along with a travel clip. The action made Taewoo scream in terror. Hey, wait a second. Before he could do anything, Seo Jun had already grabbed the phone and opened the clip. I don't know which live stream it was, but Taewoo was casually chatting with his audience. Guys, do you want to hear something funny? Titled as a travel clip. In a surprise live stream, where only Taewoo's voice could be heard, he shared, I told you guys I was living with a friend, right? He's usually pretty decent, but sometimes he does really weird stuff. The other day, his phone got some dirt on it, so he brought it to the sink and scrubbed it with dish soap. I was shocked and asked him what he was doing. He casually said, "Isn't it waterproof?" and just kept scrubbing. I nearly fainted. Then yesterday, I told him to cool down the computer tower with a cooling fan. So he sat crouching next to the tower and held the fan pointing right at it. Like a good little child. No wonder it failed. Taewoo's laughter echoed through the phone, causing Seo Jun to fix a murderous gaze on him without looking away. He gently pinched his friend's cheek with his tongs. You're the last dish of the night. You little brat. Taewoo's scream easily drew a round of laughter from the audience and the two, Alpaca and Suha. Time for a tantrum. A few moments later, Taewoo happily sighed, looking at his empty bowls. That was a delicious meal. I'm stuffed. Alpaca couldn't help but speak up. Thanks for the collab today, Seo Jun. Seo Jun didn't show much emotion, but still nodded lightly in response. You worked hard too. Alpaca, I've learned a lot from you. Seo Jun didn't show much emotion, but still nodded lightly in response. You worked hard too. Alpaca, I've learned a lot from you. But hey, Seo Jun, are you planning on starting an iTube channel? The topic came up at the perfect time, making his face light up. Oh, yes, I am, but I'm still an amateur. Alpaca offered some advice. If you're serious about doing it, you should look for an editor first. Seo Jun's blank expression made him excitedly slam the table and grill his partner right on a live stream. If you want, I can introduce you to someone I know. Alpaca's enthusiastic look made Seo Jun unable to help but ask directly. Someone you know? By the time the small apartment returned to silence after the noisy meal, Seo Jun happily popped open a can of beer. He took a quick gulp before sighing in contentment. This feels great. Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind, making Seo Jun stop smiling. Do I really need to do this on iTube? His brain quickly took him back to the end of the barbecue meal, when Alpaca shared his opinion shyly. Of course you should. Your channel will grow even bigger. Seo Jun, the income from there is pretty decent too, whether a channel takes off or not. It's mostly thanks to the editor's skills. PC games are different from other games, so it's rare to find an editor who knows how to make the highlights pop. Seo Jun, hearing that, turned to ask Alpaca's editor immediately. Then why did you become an editor for Alpaca, sir? He heard the question and happily shared immediately. Back then, I was just a regular office worker. Then I happened to watch one of Alpaca's streams. He heard the question and happily shared immediately. Back then, I was just a regular office worker. Then I happened to watch one of Alpaca's streams. So I thought I could help him turn things around and reached out to him. The relatively short story made Taewoo unable to help but exclaim. That must have been back when he was a nobody, right? You dare to quit your job for that. So it didn't hesitate to nod. Yeah, he took a leisurely glance at Alpaca's bright, goofy face and cleared his throat to speak his mind. I had a hunch. I knew Alpaca would be famous one day. Back to reality. Seo Jun watched the sunset fading away. He started mumbling unconsciously. An editor, huh? If you want to be a successful streamer, YouTube is mandatory. But my goal is to win the streamer tournament. In just a split second, Seo Jun was lost in his own private thoughts without realizing it. At first, I just want to get the PC and quit, but being a streamer is actually more fun than I thought. I've started to enjoy the feeling of laughing and meeting people. The audience is teasing back then. A lazy person like you can play games? Made Seo Jun feel as happy as a grandfather watching his grandchildren play. Young people these days really know how to enjoy themselves. Then he remembered the scenes of the audience frustratedly pulling him back whenever CO June calmly walked into a pitfall in the game script. How did everything end so easily? Those warm, happy moments made him go silent for a few seconds, before sighing and muttering under the warm afternoon sun. Is it because I'm lonely? A breeze blew, making CO June feel much more clear-headed. Must be it. Petals drifting in the wind easily weighed down his mood. CO June started thinking about the old moments from his past life. The feeling of remembering a past life is like having a hometown that you can never return to, no matter how much you miss it. Those thoughts made CO June feel more vague than before. I don't know. I should head to the gym to clear my head. The next morning, at a gym, the thumping sound of boxing rang out in the air. Inside the gym, the trainers watched intently as CO June punished others with punches that were more intense than anyone else's. Each precise, dangerous blow made his opponents sweat buckets, even if they managed to dodge them. Yet, CO June calmly pulled his hands back and sighed comfortably. The image made Chi Hyuk, standing on the ring floor, shudder. He's back here to relieve stress again. It's strange, too. The kids he beat up actually seemed to improve. CO June suddenly became the fitness manager for those training there. Suddenly, Dong-soo appeared out of nowhere and spoke up. Oh, manager. The 18-year-old kid who was itching for a spar was now sadly crying out. How much longer do I have to run on this machine? Chi Hyuk, who was busy observing CO June's strikes, had to turn to comfort the kid. Listen, kid, you've only been here for 2 weeks. Who would have thought Dong-soo would complain so miserably? I've only done basics and conditioning, and I don't feel like it's enough. Manager, I'm a pro. His arrogant way of speaking made Chi Hyuk laugh and warn him, pro in the virtual world, this is real life. Kid, be realistic. Seeing he couldn't convince the other, Dong-soo started frowning and calculating. The coach said I have to practice realistically with my body, so at this rate, I'll be stuck on this treadmill until next year's tournament. No different from a hamster running in circles forever. That primal fear immediately became the motivation for Dong-soo to crawl on the floor and throw a tantrum. I want to learn some real combat moves. So exciting. His noise not only made the people training laugh, but also made Chi Hyuk waver. This kid is really, all right, a quick spar today is fine, right? Dong-soo's eyes lit up. Awesome. Do I get to pick my opponent? We got the casual nod from Chi Hyuk. Up to you. When he got the casual nod from Chi Hyuk. Up to you. As he jumped for joy in the middle of the gym. This is the best. Everyone around started to quickly retreat from the scene. There's no one here you can beat, anyway. Suddenly, a confident voice echoed, leaving Dong-soo stunned. Bring it on. He turned slowly, his heart filled with an indescribable nervousness. As soon as Dong-soo looked at the person who had just called him, he stood there dazed. Isn't that the guy from the video yesterday? Min-hyun kept praising his gameplay, so I checked it out. Reflecting on that moment, Dong-soo was also very surprised when the other person shoved a phone in his face. Hey, look at this, he's actually insane. He didn't care about that at the time, just angrily yelled, hey buddy, move, you're blocking the screen. But until a sudden discovery shocked Dong-soo. Even Haeyeon was amazed when watching it. A series of unusual attitudes from everyone around made him not feel very happy. I think he's normal, nothing special. But how did a nobody get in here? Dong-soo watched CO June talk to the manager and felt curious. Is he the manager's friend? Suddenly, he shifted his eyes from Chi Hyuk to look at Dong-soo, making him jump back in surprise. Dong-soo's feigned ignorance made CO June visibly bored. Who should I choose? Feeling the other's gaze fixed on him, he started to panic. Oh man, why is he looking at me like that? At that moment, Chi Hyuk suddenly called Dong-soo over. Dong-soo, found an opponent yet? As soon as he got the awkward answer, oh, not yet, not yet, he immediately patted his shoulder hard. Listen clearly, Dong-soo. Sparring isn't about taking down your opponent. The point is to test your techniques and improve your skills. Leaving Dong-soo to stand there, lost in thought. Why is he looking at me with such a creepy look? Yet instead of taking Chi Hyuk's advice seriously, he just frowned and glanced to the side to inspect CO June's toned body. He's about my size and doesn't look like he has any muscle. This looks like an easy win. When Chi Hyuk shook Dong-soo hard. Got it? Remember, be polite, don't get too worked up. Even though he didn't hear anything, he happily replied sincerely. Yes, yes, I know. Then before I shoot myself in the foot, can I spar with that guy? The one-of-a-kind choice left Chi Hyuk completely bewildered. What? With him? As Dong-su replied clearly and articulately. Yes. He couldn't stand the students muttering nonsense anymore. We want to spar with the game god to give him some advice. Dong-su, do you want to rethink that? Others are wanting to spar with you here. Who would have thought Dong-su wouldn't care about them and would boldly ask the other person? Is it rude to ask for a sparring match right after meeting? Chi Hyuk saw the feisty young colt in front of him refusing to turn back, and quickly lowered his voice to reply. Oh, right. That's an incredibly rude and thoughtless suggestion. Before he could finish, Seo Jun cleared his throat to greet him. Hello, I heard you. You want to spar with me? The other party happily offered first, so Dong-su eagerly stepped up. Oh, really? I really like you. You're Seo Jun, right? The question quickly left him wondering. Oh, what do you know my name? As he chattered away without pausing for breath. I watched your stream yesterday. Oh, can I call you Hyung? Seo Jun whispered to himself. This kid reminds me of Tae-woo. Before smiling and replying awkwardly. Whatever, feel free. At Dong-su's hurried urging. Shall we head to the ring then? The two young players quickly prepared their gear to enter the ring. But hey, Hyung. He lowered his eyes and spoke like a naive superior. You play games pretty well, though obviously not as good as me. Feeling the other was trying to provoke his ego, Seo Jun just muttered lightly. Is that so? But who are you? The innocent question made Dong-su's face go blank. You really don't know who I am? I'm the one and only game god. You don't know. The strange title made Seo Jun scratch his head in confusion. What is a game god? The other's clueless look made Dong-su turn dark. Oh wait, he said he just started playing games. So why is Haeyeon making such a big deal out of nobody like this? Just a split second later, he excitedly smirked. After I win, I'll let you know. Do you know what a great honor it is to spar with me? Hearing that, Seo Jun calmly got into his stance, preparing for the unbalanced battle about to happen. Fine, let's go. While Dong-su stepped lightly as if warming up. No need to be too serious with a beginner. Just spar politely and go easy. Seo Jun flipped his classic sweeping mode to throw a punch at Dong-su's face, while the other was busy laughing at his own delusions. Go easy. A moment later, cold winds started appearing outside. Seo Jun just finished a sip of milk when Hajuan spoke up gently. Seo Yun, you should have gone easy on the kid earlier. Looking at his build, he seems like just a regular person. Seo Jun, hearing that, replied calmly. It's fine, Dad. His footwork is quite promising. He's probably just training his stamina for now. Hajuan nodded awkwardly. I see. While his brain recalled his and Chi Hyuk's images when Seo Jun knocked out Dong-su with a single blow, his soul fell out of his body. Oh, my head hurts. Suddenly, he remembered something and cleared his throat to ask. By the way, how's your live streaming going lately? Seo Jun looked at the blue sky above and couldn't help but sigh. Yes, everything is still fine. Suddenly, he remembered something and cleared his throat to ask. By the way, how's your live streaming going lately? Seo Jun looked at the blue sky above and couldn't help but sigh. Yes, everything is still fine. It's hard to get famous as a streamer, isn't it? Hearing Tae-woo say that getting even one viewer is a struggle. Hajuan took the opportunity to retell the story of how he and his wife had a fun chat with him a few days ago. Streaming isn't a job just anyone can do. He cleared his throat to mimic his wife, so his son could clearly understand the situation back then. Not a single viewer, not counting the fact that Seo Jun would feel dissatisfied with Tuesday. I don't know what that brat was showing to people's parents. He hadn't even expressed his thoughts before Hajuan excitedly shared. So, I've been thinking, why don't you two try playing Stellarcraft? It's a game people say if you see it and think it looks familiar, it's time to go for a checkup. When Seo Jun raised his eyebrows, expressing his concern. Is that still hot nowadays, Dad? What kind of game is that? I've never heard of it. That distracted attitude made Hajuan unable to help but scream. You call yourself a gamer, but don't know this game? You have to grind games like this to attract views. And currently, how many people are in your stream room? When Seo Jun raised his eyebrows, expressing his concern. Is that still hot nowadays, Dad? What kind of game is that? I've never heard of it. That distracted attitude made Hajuan unable to help but scream. You call yourself a gamer, but don't know this game? You have to grind games like this to attract views. And currently, how many people are in your stream room? Hajuin stood frozen at the information. Who would have thought he wouldn't be able to read his father's emotions, and updated him on the situation? It'll probably be more crowded today. I already have 3,000 followers. It made him spit out all his banana milk. The site made CEO June fearfully step aside. Keep it down, Dad. But Hajuin didn't care about that comment, focusing instead on something far more important. 3,000 people? Dad, you mean 3,000 people? His shrill scream echoed through the entire space. After that collab, throughout the next day, the forums gradually became active. Every post easily hit 30 interactions, and no one was throwing shade at CEO June's cognitive abilities anymore. He lay stretched out on his bed, analyzing those popularity metrics, which meant his presence in this community had truly grown. Suddenly, a notification pinged, making him confusedly check his phone. It turned out Taewoo had forwarded a post to CEO June along with a message. Check this out. It's hilarious. Why is streamer Jin CEO June a Korean hacker? Who is Oban Taewoo? The standard for what they call genes is very vague. And besides CEO June, there hasn't been a single other successful case. If he isn't someone on the development team, he's definitely a hacker. I'm certain of it. CEO June read the mocking content and went still for a few seconds before curling his lip in a sarcastic smirk. He silently imagined Taewoo's dramatic laughter and couldn't help but chuckle along. Pretty reliable stuff. So this is what it feels like to experience this. Once the laughter died down, CEO June frowned and processed the immediate issue. First things first, let's send them a report ticket. But a profound thought suddenly surfaced, making him jump up. At this rate, after only being on air for 3 days, do I have to do a clarification livestream? Driven by that thought, CEO June dove back into the VR pod, as if spurred on by that article. His mood that day seemed 10,000 times more energetic than usual. How many people will tune in today? Not knowing how much time had passed, CEO June notified the livestream system. I'm in. The number of live viewers jumped continuously. Meanwhile, in the real world, Paimon was going crazy, slamming his hand down on the table. He shouted furiously. How has the weak point detection skill already been unlocked? That progress path was designed to take at least a month. Jang Ha waited for his boss to lower his voice before jumping in to reply. Exactly. In a game with this much to do, it takes pure luck to pull that off. See? I told you something fell off, but you didn't listen to a word I said back then. Afraid the other would continue to needle him, Paimon roared in anger. You little brat. What did you just say? However, Jang Ha quickly returned to his usual serious demeanor to focus on his work. Cool it. Do you think I wanted this to be figured out? Hearing the strange phrasing, Paimon asked in confusion. Figured out? What the hell are you talking about? Under his boss's baffled gaze, Jang Ha quickly opened his laptop and pushed it toward his grumpy superior. Watch this, Paimon muttered in confusion as he looked at the dark screen. What is this? Jang Ha couldn't clearly see his cursor, but he still managed to press play perfectly. The video showed him breaking the grain. Paimon immediately witnessed the scene of CEO June handling the situation. Seconds passed again. Of course, the glorious victory he achieved in just a few short seconds was clearly displayed. Everything made Paimon's head spin. No, how does this make any sense? Could it be that he hit a bug and accidentally triggered the weak point detection skill? Hearing that question, Jang Ha immediately denied it. We checked that ages ago. There are no glitches. That only made Paimon more agitated. Then how? Because of his boss's skepticism, Jang Ha's fanboy spirit for CEO June from that live stream flared up again. Let me explain. It looks like he grasped the pattern on the very first try. And speaking of his pattern, it's the standard sword trajectory that our team spent months grueling over to design. Even a normal player wouldn't see through it in their dreams. Yet CEO June Nim saw it instantly and slashed right through it. In short, even from the perspective of a game developer like me, he is 100% not a hacker. Anyone who dares to mess with CEO June, consider yourself at war with me. And oh my god, he's just the best. Long lai CEO Yunyo. Hundreds of thousands of flowery words from Jang Ha were cut off almost immediately by Paimon. Hey, stop it already. Now what are we going to do? Unexpectedly, he cleared his throat and pointed a finger nonchalantly. Do what? I wasn't even done praising him yet. The calm, superior attitude made Paimon roar in anger. Asking what are we going to do? Don't you know if the shards drop first, we're all doomed? How can you be so relaxed? While Jangha was happily fulfilling his duties as a game developer, Paimon, carrying more responsibility, naturally had more worries than the others. The shards of order. They were one of the few things kept secret to be revealed for the next game. According to the plan, when enough shards were collected, a short quest chain would be activated. At that moment, the player who completed that quest chain would have the company's teaser video revealed to them right at that moment. But his perfect plan had collapsed bitterly because of just one single gamer. That made Paimon want to collapse himself. But trying to save his aching heart, he still cleared his throat and asked Jangha, "How long do we estimate it will take to complete the trailer for the new game?" The other replied, 1 month. He frowned and asked again, "What if the whole team works overtime, starting today, at breakneck speed?" Jangha stood still, calculating for a few seconds before giving a vague answer. "Probably about a week." Paimon nervously rubbed his hands and asked further, "So, what are the odds of that streamer gathering all the shards of order in that time frame?" With misplaced confidence, Jangha quickly replied in glee without further thought, "I can guarantee this with certainty. 100%, boss." On top of that, the guy spoke in such a confident tone that Paimon, already in despair, lost his temper. In a split second, he hissed through his teeth, "You annoying, useless piece of trash." Then he suddenly shouted loud enough for the whole company to hear, "Get out of here right now." After kicking Jangha out of the office, Paimon leaned back in his chair, defeated, and let out a sigh. But his eyes couldn't help but look forward, where the image of CO June fighting the Drake in the final stage was frozen on his laptop. No way. How is that possible? Attention quickly rose, making Paimon angrily tap the keys. How did he do that? But just a moment later, he had to stop all his activities. Once he was mesmerized by CO June's sword dancing ability, he had to admit it. This was a bit. Paimon suddenly clicked to replay CO June's battle video. He watched the rising view count of the clip and didn't mind watching it one more time. The fact that CO June carried the aura of a classic ancient swordsman made Paimon curious enough to go online, search for his name, and get sucked into CO June's cool gaming clips. Along with the unpredictable, lethal attitude of the young man, Paimon seemed to have a new joy triggered, covering his mouth to hide his excited smile. "That's so cool." He surfed happily, muttering excitedly. "The idea of using soldiers as threats to catch the Drake was my idea. I didn't expect it to be revealed like this." Suddenly, while in his delirium, Paimon realized it was 3:21 a.m. "Wow, is it that late already? How long has it been since I felt this fulfilled?" Watching a player enjoy the game, he poured his heart into in their own unique way. Then watching viewers drop their jaws like, "Wait, you could do that." This is exactly what we all dreamed of when creating the Dawn Assassins, even though it meant sacrificing the mental health of both Paimon and his subordinates. Why is there an error all of a sudden? Damn it, you're the one who said to do it that way. Those thoughts couldn't help but make him smile with satisfaction. Paimon immediately did something he rarely did. He followed CO June online. Din Siu Yunya. Almost immediately, his new live session was uploaded by the boss with the title, "Thank you for 1,700 followers." As the stream officially began, someone excitedly shouted, "It's live. Let's go, guys." The next second, CO June's handsome, expressionless face appeared before everyone. "Hello, everyone." A series of comments started flying across the system. "Hi there. What kind of stream title is that?" The funny scene made him feel slightly awkward. As soon as the views increased, the chat speed became dizzying. "Ah, that's why I prepared this." As soon as CO June sent a private message, Cho AM, aka the Josian assassin, quickly appeared. Along with him were the patient riding a white horse and the winter defender, truly soulmates. Seeing the three were online, CO June lowered his voice to take roll call. "Is everyone here? From now on, these guys will be the mods managing the chat room." As if waiting for him to finish, the three immediately showed their loyalty. "Leave it to me, Josian. This 25 million point hero will manage it strictly. Lord CO June, King CO June, Great CO June is the best." "Yes, sir. Yes. I will try my best to give the audience a good laugh. Look at this crowd of professional trolls." Yet he still explained seriously, "But these are the people who have been with me since the very first days on air. When I asked them to be mods, they all volunteered happily." Then he vividly remembered that fun chat session when he asked his 3 fans, Yes, I think being a channel mod is fine. Thank you for trusting me. Oh, are you serious? CO June suddenly remembered something and chuckled, muttering, except for the guy who steals bathroom bricks, who is still completely MIA and hasn't replied. And here are the rules for my channel. Please read them through briefly. CO June pressed a button, and the livestream system pinged a series of new notifications for viewers. Notifications. Only chat about content related to the livestream. If you see toxic elements, don't argue in the chat. Report them straight to the mods. You know what you shouldn't do, right? The viewers with the fastest reading comprehension replied quickly. In short, behave consciously. Got it. So what does the stream title mean in the end? The final question made CO June raise an eyebrow. About that, it seems there are quite a few people skeptical about how I found the weak points. That's my fault. I apologize for not explaining it clearly. Rarely does someone sincerely apologize only to be teased by viewers without any defense. You don't look sorry at all. So how did you find the weak points? Oh, he's back. Forget it. I took a screenshot. CO June didn't pay attention to those comments, focusing only on the main issue. I simply connected the lines between similar parts on the equipment to make slashing easier. I think even if I explained it, people would still say it's a pod hack. So I reported myself to be safe. His one-of-a-kind announcement made the audience go wild. What? You reported yourself? CO June quickly showed the email he had sent to the game company earlier. I think I might have accidentally used a hack without knowing it. It seems I accidentally used a hack. Could you please check it for me? Which made everyone roar with laughter. What kind of chaotic behavior is this? I'm going crazy. So this is why the god confessed. Oh, so he's making the game company prove his innocence for him. Amazing. Those praises made CO June suddenly feel proud, crossing his arms and smiling. Now I've explained it clearly, right? Unexpectedly, no one in the audience bothered to nod in agreement, only continuing to vent their laughter into the chat. Explain what? That was shady, but you have to admit that move was effective. Truly a calm madman. A true genius streamer is right here. Seeing everyone's excited appearance, CO June happily clicked into the game system. Then I'm heading into the game now. Today's live stream will be. Suddenly, a waiting image appeared, making him freeze. Oh, a mission prompt just arrived. Thanks to the creator of the Dawn Assassins game. In front of CO June, the company's exclusive system suddenly issued a notification. Use weak point detection on the Lord of the Ethereus Tower. That notification was also seen by the viewers, making them go wild. A whole million. Peak. But what on earth does the Ethereus Tower Lord have to use weak point detection on? He's not wearing any gear. Aren't they talking about magic? Wait, can you slash magic too? They know this well. Is that account really the actual account of the game creator? Someone suddenly raised a question, making CO June nod along. That's true, actually. He started falling into his own private thoughts. The first mission was such a huge bonus. Duplicate. He started falling into his own private thoughts. The first mission was such a huge bonus. While CO June was extremely serious about the recent event. Is this really the game creator? The viewers were given a chance to roll on the floor laughing at his excessive seriousness. Hey, look at this handsome brother. This match is easy, too sweet, too sweet. There's no way that would happen. Why is our streamer so naive? The comment content quickly disappeared when CO June clicked the zone transfer button. Not knowing how much time passed, CO June was teleported to a city ruled by the Ethereus Tower mages, the leader dominating at the center, the Tower Lord Ethereus, the Duke. Although he always appeared virtuous and rational on the outside, he didn't hesitate to perform human experiments. As soon as he set foot in this gloomy city, CO June started jumping and leaping everywhere. His figure wasn't recognized by anyone on the ground until CO June hopped down, startling a girl so much she almost jumped out of her skin. The surging fear drained all her energy, forcing her to cling to the ground to leave. I thought you were an assassin. My heart almost stopped. Despite seeing such a clownish scene, CO June continued his stroll on the street. All right, let's go assassinate, making the viewers not know whether to laugh or cry. Monster, cover your ears. That monster will probably cry if it hears that. Surviving the Middle Ages is so hard. Breaking into the Ethereus Tower by walking through the front gate. This is truly addictive. CO June, do you know anything about this Ethereus Tower? Just seeing this comment, he stopped to think. I'm afraid if I go on air too methodically, it'll be boring. So I only looked up the basics, like let's clear the dungeon with CO June. So he replied to the viewers with his typical intense sincerity. Otherwise, wouldn't it be done just by climbing straight to the top floor? That very bluntness made the audience marvel endlessly. Are you just going to charge in blindly again today? But isn't this ethereal tower a bit too hard? CO June looked at the stack of comments and moved forward. He gently opened a massive gate blocking his path and muttered, "Well, let's see what happens." CO June scanned the vast space inside the tower. Since he didn't know the way, he decided to tail the NPCs. Are those NPCs mages? When he didn't get an answer from the viewers, CO June continued his monologue. They look fewer than I thought. I didn't expect most of them to be regular people. Up to this moment, the audience was happily chatting away, just like a market. Mages are rare, of course. Floors 1 to 3 are basically a market. Reaching floor 4 is when the Real Challenge begins. CO June watched the gate the mages walked through, guarded strictly by guards, while looking at the few comments from the moderators. Oh, this newbie is about to do something foolish again. Target those guards and clear them out quickly. I'm so bored. His analytical mentality from his past life started to surge. Seeing the chat silent like this must be the way to floor 4. If I were going the wrong way, the chat would have been flooded with caca laughs by now. Damien, standing guard, saw someone approaching and frowned threateningly. This is a restricted area. He silently tightened his grip on his spear and calculated in his heart. Just threatening them a little will make them back off. Damien's mouth uttered the familiar line he'd learned beforehand. No entry without a pass. CO June gently slashed the arm the other was preparing to attack with. That quick, clean action meant he hadn't even had time to utter a cry of pain before he collapsed, watching CO June walk through the gate with dignity. But he hadn't taken a few steps before his feet were grabbed by something. Not only that, it seems CO June's entire face couldn't turn normally anymore. Everything happened unexpectedly, making him feel anxious. What is this? I can't move my body. While that tension was rising, a disgusting laugh suddenly rang out right behind CO June. Valak appeared gently with 2 fireballs present in his hands. Too bad for you, intruder. He didn't bother saying another word, firing the flames towards CO June. The surprise attack left him stunned.